Good afternoon, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. We are here to bring you a live update on the New Orleans truck attack and the Cybertruck explosion at Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. And in about 8 minutes, if it starts on time, there is going to be a live press conference from the Las Vegas authorities. From Las Vegas police with an update about the Cybertruck explosion. So we're going to have that live for you. There was an update a couple hours ago about the New Orleans truck attack, where authorities now say they believe that this person acted alone, that they're not seeing evidence that the truck attacker in New Orleans acted with other people. But we'll get caught up on that, and we'll probably check that out as well. But we have a live briefing coming up any moment now, and we're just waiting to get that stream live. As soon as that's live, I will show it to you. So I'm keeping an eye on that. It's not live yet. 7 minutes from now. 7 minutes from now. I do want to thank, so we'll get you all caught up. We'll take your comments and questions here. You can write to me at @Lookner on X. I want to thank our moderators, our moderators for being here. Roberts, May Queen, and Sabrina over there on YouTube. Also, Beth Mythical. They're moderating right now. Thank you. And Sabrina, I think I said Sabrina, Linda Belk, and Larry on X. And oh, hold on, I actually have video. I have video from the briefing. I have some video for you already. I have early video. I'll finish thanking our mods after I post the video. Hold on, it's time for me to get the video on the screen. It's time for the video. Check it out, guys. Why am I not hearing this? I should be hearing this. Hold on, I gotta fix my headphones. There's a problem with the headphones.
Are you guys ready for a mic check? All right. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. This is Carlos. 1, 2, 3. We're good? Okay. 1, 2,
What is
3,
happening here?
4. Mic check. We're good? Everybody good? Thumbs? Yeah, I don't think I can talk. So we're good? Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. You guys ready?
So you can take the paper down now, sir.
Now we're good.
They were what?
All right, so we're here. This is you're watching. This is the upcoming briefing here. Give me a moment. I was thanking our moderators for being here, and I want to thank the rest of our moderators. A moment of lovely and Surly Dever moderating. Thank you on Twitch, and thanks also to our Facebook moderators. Margaret Riley, and Kay Lowry Body are moderating over there. Thank you. Ronald Egnor. Thanks to all of our moderators. I really appreciate it. All right. So we are waiting for a Cybertruck update. Cybertruck update. In case you didn't hear, it was reported today that that the person who did this is a active duty special forces sergeant who was on leave from Germany. That's according to Haley Britsky of CNN. There was a name that we talked about last night that media had reported, but my guess is, I don't think that officially they've announced the name, so my guess is that they'll announce the name of the person who did it officially. Oh, thanks to Dolores Wilson for your support, for the gift membership. PZ Papa Zulu, thanks for the gift memberships. Ivan, thanks for being a member. Mark Barnes, thanks for the gift membership, for being a member. Mark Barnes, thanks. Where is my Oasis for the gift memberships? So we're bringing you live coverage here. There's no evidence that we've heard yet that this person who did the Cybertruck, who caused the Cybertruck to explode and died in the explosion, there's no evidence that we've heard yet that this person was working with anyone else. Hey, thanks, Mark Barnes, for the gift membership. Thank you, Crypto King, for your support as well. Again, we are going to get a Cybertruck explosion update here any moment now. Oh, I'm supposed to get some other video. What is this? Thank you also, Marnie, for the gift membership. Thanks, Marnie. Again, now Derek Bellhoomer says they both served together at the same army base. I've heard some reporting claiming that, but I mean, I haven't, even if that's true, I don't know that they would have been there at the same time or knew each other. So I haven't heard either of those things. I mean, if it turned out that they were both at the same army base at some point, but not at the same time, and didn't know each other, I mean, I don't think that's that significant in terms of connecting the two events, but we'll have to see what comes out. Hey, thank you to Jesse's Girl and End Time Christian and Lonnie Schultz for your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Silence or turn off, please.
Silence your phones. Silence your phones. Thanks to Silver Commander as well. Bourbon Street is reopening, by the way, but we're going to show this right now. All right, hold on.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kevin McMahill. I'm the sheriff of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and we are collectively here this morning to give you an update on the Cybertruck explosion at the Trump Hotel on Las Vegas Boulevard yesterday. Our work never stopped, as many of you went to sleep last night, and I just want to give you an update on a lot of what it is that we found through the processing of the Cybertruck. This is a joint investigation involving the FBI, the ATF, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and these folks worked through the night and found a lot of stuff that is very useful for this investigation. As you look at this Cybertruck here, we had to transport this down to our fleet services so that we could really get through this thing. And I remind you that the subject inside wasn't able to be removed for a very long period of time because he was burnt beyond recognition. And so as we continue to move through this, I'm going to talk a little bit about his identity and what we believe, but I would like to highlight a couple of things that the teams found inside of the Cybertruck that are useful to the investigation. And that, first and foremost, is a military identification. We also found a passport. We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber semi-automatic pistol. And if you'll notice on a lot of these guns that we're going to talk about here, they're almost just burnt beyond recognition as well. There's a SLR model B30 semi-automatic firearm, number of fireworks that were still in the vehicle that had to be removed. Notably, we found an iPhone and a smartwatch, and then several credit cards were also in the name of our subject. Our subject is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He's of Colorado Springs, Colorado, born July 22nd of 1987. Now, as you'll see here on a picture of his driver's license, let's see, the question really still remains for me, and I know that there's a lot of you folks in the media that are identifying this person as the person in our vehicle. As I mentioned to you already, his body is burnt beyond recognition, and I do still not have confirmation 100% that that is the individual that was inside of our vehicle. And so as I'm calling it now, the subject or person of interest, I will not come back until I have the confirmation through DNA or medical records that this is indeed, in fact, the subject inside of the vehicle. Now, further complicating this identification of this individual, we also discovered through the coroner's office that the individual had sustained a gunshot wound to the head prior to the detonation of the vehicle. One of the handguns was found at his feet inside of the vehicle. Obviously, in how we're trying to identify him, and I'm feeling comfortable to give you this information, is a tremendous amount of substantial evidence to include he rented the Turo vehicle. There are 2 tattoos, one of which was on the stomach and one of which is on the arm, that we can see bits and pieces of it as in comparison to what it is that we now know he had on his body. That has given us a lot of confidence that this is, in fact, the same person. As well as the clearly obvious, which is the credit cards, the military identification, the passport. And then furthermore, as you'll see here in just a very short period of time, we tracked his movements from Colorado to Las Vegas, and in a number of the photographs that we were able to determine, he was the individual that was driving the vehicle. And also, I'd like to iterate this point to you. We still have only ever seen him in this vehicle, and we're not aware of any other subjects involved in this particular case. Now, I would like to acknowledge a couple of things because I know what's going on in the social media world, and there are a number of things in this case that are similar to the attack in New Orleans. We do know that our subject here served in the military. In fact, he's a current member of the military. Both of the subjects served at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. What we do know about that is it's a very large military base, and we have no record that they served in the same unit or even at the same years at Fort Bragg, something that continues to remain under investigation. I also know that they both served in Afghanistan in 2009. We don't have any evidence that they were in the same province in Afghanistan, the same location, or the same unit. Again, something else that remains under investigation. And we also know, of course, that they both used the rental company Turo to rent their vehicles. As far as his military background, it's been confirmed by DOD that he was indeed in the United States Army. He was also a Green Beret operations sergeant who spent most of his time at Fort Carson, Colorado, and in Germany. He was on approved leave from Germany, where he was serving with the 10th Special Forces Group. He was also previously in the National Guard and the Army Reserve. I'd like to point out to you that through exceptional joint investigative effort, we've gotten to a place where we believe we can show you his route to Las Vegas from Colorado, and Carlos will put up the map there for you. And we know that he rented the Cybertruck in Denver on December 28th. We tracked his movements through the Tesla charging stations to Monument, Colorado on December 30th. On the 31st of December, the truck was charged in Trinidad, Colorado, Las Vegas, New Mexico, and Albuquerque and Gallup, New Mexico. On January 1st, the truck was charged in Holbrook, Flagstaff, and Kingman, Arizona. We last tracked the truck in Kingman at 05:33 yesterday morning. The truck was first spotted in Las Vegas at 7:29 a.m. yesterday. And Carlos will pull up a picture of the truck pulling onto Fashion Show Drive here. And that picture was observed at about 7:34 a.m. We know that he pulled into the Trump Valet, and I believe we have a video of that. You can see the Cybertruck highlighted there. So through extensive surveillance video, we were able to track him leaving there, and we know that he went to several different places along Las Vegas Boulevard.
Hang on, guys. Getting you the video here. Give me one moment here.
Through extensive surveillance video, we were able to track him leaving there, and we know that he went to several different places along Las Vegas Boulevard, and he spent some time in a parking lot of a business near Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard. We didn't have a video of the
Actually, I'm going to go back to the other view. The audio is not as good here.
Boulevard from the sands. See that there? Investigative updates that are going to be provided to you by a couple of the other speakers here, the first of which will be our special agent in charge of the FBI local office, Spencer Evans. Spencer?
Guys, I'll show you all the video with the photos after. I'll show you the video with the photos
Spencer
after.
Evans. I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas division. As the sheriff mentioned, we've been working through the night with our partners, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and other agencies, to gather all the facts and determine a motive to what was initially reported to the FBI as a bombing incident, to which our special agent bomb techs and others responded. Obviously, we're always concerned in these sorts of events to ascertain what the motive is. We understand that's everybody's at the forefront of everyone's thoughts. And so looking into exactly what the motivation is remains our #1 priority. This is why the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force has been brought into play. The Joint Terrorism Task Force, most important part of that acronym is joint. It is done in concert with our partners, which are comprised of more than a dozen investigative agencies here throughout the state of Nevada. We've been working hand in glove, side by side, tirelessly to determine, is there any ongoing threat to the public, to identify the subject, to determine any potential connection to other events going on in the world, most notably in New Orleans, and then obviously to determine if there's anything else that we need to be tracking down. At this time, as the sheriff's pointed out, we feel that the subject has been identified, although not conclusively, waiting for DNA evidence on that front. However, we do feel like we have the subject identified, and at this time there is no information about additional subjects that the FBI is tracking on. Our resources, as I mentioned, that have been deployed in support of this event include Special Agent Bomb Techs, our evidence response team, which is processing crime scenes, side by side with the forensics folks from Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, our investigators, our intelligence analysts, and then outside of the FBI Las Vegas field office, we have investigative leads that are being conducted by FBI field offices, both internationally and domestically as well. As always, when the FBI is involved with any sort of case like this, we ask for help for the public. Anyone with information related to this incident, we encourage you to please call 1-800 call FBI, or you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. We've already received thousands of tips related to this incident. The challenge that we face moving forward is to separate those that are pertinent and relevant and those that can be verified for those, from those that have not. For example, one of the tips that we received just today relates to information alluding to this subject's personal experiences related to his time and activity in the military. Again, that's unverified and uncorroborated, but one of many tips and leads that we will be following up in the days that come. If you have any additional information, again, encourage everyone, 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit it online, tips.fbi.gov. We will tirelessly work to exhaust all investigative leads and conclusively determine what the nature of this particular incident was, what the motivation was, and to the extent possible, share all that information as we obtain it. I'll now turn some time over to the Assistant Special Agent in charge from the ATF, Kenny Cooper.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kenny Cooper. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge of ATF San Francisco Field Division. ATF is bringing our expertise in post-blast investigations and our crime gun intelligence to specifically assist in this investigation. I will tell you that our Special Agent bomb techs are working with FBI and with Las Vegas Metro and sifting through that post-blast debris to find components and investigative leads that will derive from that evidence process. We're too early into that investigation process to give any determination as far as how this device was initiated. I will say that we do know that the components primarily consist of fireworks, mortars, aerial shells, and are all consumer fireworks. Nothing commercial grade has been discovered at this point, and we've identified some fuel enhancers like the Coleman fuel and VP racing fuel and some explosive targets that can be purchased at any sporting goods store. We've also, as the sheriff mentioned, we've identified 2 semi-automatic handguns recovered from the Tesla. We have successfully traced those firearms, and I can tell you that Matthew Livesberg lawfully purchased both of these firearms on December 30th, 2024. We have agents following up those investigative leads. We know exactly where those firearms were purchased, and we will share any developments from those leads as they come in. Thank you.
We also have the Clark County Fire Chief here, John Steinbeck, and he didn't have any additional updates, but if there's any questions in regards to what the fire department did during this, he's here to answer those questions as well. With that, I'd just like to say before I take a couple questions from all of you, you'll notice that we're not releasing information that we haven't corroborated and verified. We're very well aware of all of the things that are going around on social media. But that's just the way we're going to conduct this investigation. We're not putting it out until we can tell you for a fact what information it is that we're putting out. And so we're going to continue to do that, but I'm also confident to tell the Las Vegas community and this great nation that we don't believe there's any further threat from this subject or anybody associated to him here in Las Vegas. With that, Denise, I saw you had your hand up. If you could just identify yourself, please.
Channel 3 in Las Vegas. Did this suspect have any other connection to Las Vegas? Had he ever been here before, or any reason to be here?
So the question was, did the subject have any ties to Las Vegas, or had he ever been here before? I do believe we had one instance a number of years ago where he stayed at a local hotel, but we're still trying to verify that information as well. Sir?
The David Charles, KLAS TV. There was, you have a gentleman in a Cybertruck Trump hotel. There's information that the FBI was in Colorado Springs last night, possibly at this gentleman's home. Any information about why?
I think I'll let Spencer answer that question.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the motivation at this point is unknown. We are, as I mentioned earlier, following investigative leads both domestically and internationally as well. And so that includes search warrants and witness interviews, collecting forensic information, and basically trying to compile the facts. And so there's investigative activity taking place literally around the globe, trying to determine what the potential nexus is. But at this time, at this particular moment in time, as the sheriff aptly said, we have to focus on what we know and what we don't know. We know we have a bombing, absolutely, and it's a bombing that certainly has factors that raise concern. It's not lost on us that it's in front of, of the Trump building, that it's a Tesla vehicle, but we don't have information at this point that definitively tells us or suggests it was because of this particular ideology or any of the reasoning behind it. That's the purpose of the investigation that we're conducting, is to get to the bottom of exactly what happened, why and how.
Sir.
Tim Caputo with KBC in Los Angeles. You mentioned a number of similarities between this case and the one in New Orleans. How far in the investigation process do you guys go to try to rule out that they are connected, knowing that you already have a couple things that seem to connect them together?
So the question is how are we working to rule in or rule out any connections to the New Orleans event? And the answer to that is every tip and lead that comes in, every piece of evidence that comes in, we don't discount it, we work it through. It's an interesting thing during these kinds of investigations that if these turn out to be simply similarities, very strange similarities to have. And so we're not prepared to rule in or rule out anything at this point. There's lots more for us to do in this investigation. We haven't even gotten into the phones or the computers, which are usually very, very instructive and informative to us as we investigate. And we've got a lot more work to do to trace him, to see the stores that he went to rule out anybody else. Lots of investigative work to do, and we're just trying to give you an update on what we know now that is factual.
Leo Yamat, AP. Was the gunshot wound to his head self-inflicted?
We believe the question was the gunshot self-inflicted, and we do believe it was, since he was the only person in the vehicle, and it occurred immediately prior to the vehicle blowing up. Back there, sir?
Yes, sir. Morgan Chesky, NBC News. With the evidence you've seen so far, are you comfortable now calling this a suicide mission?
The question is, am I comfortable calling it a suicide mission? I'm comfortable calling it a suicide with the bombing that occurred immediately thereafter. I'm not giving it any other labels.
And with the friends and family you've spoken to so far, have they shared any prior red flags?
The question is, did we have any of the family members share any particular red flags? Again, I'll go back to what I know is circulating on social media, but none of that has been verified at this point.
And final question, real quickly. All the components you found inside the Cybertruck, were they all purchased in Colorado?
The question is, were all the components found inside of the Cybertruck purchased in Colorado? And I don't know the answer to that. That's part of why we're doing the extensive part of the investigation.
Hi, O'Neill, Associated Press. Can you talk a little bit about the security measures you have in place at the hotel now?
So, as you all know, we had just successfully completed a New Year's Eve event where hundreds of thousands of people come to Las Vegas. I've extended our posture just like it is for a New Year's Eve event, where I have thousands of police officers that are working day in and day out. Obviously, dozens and dozens of people that are working on this investigation as well. We'll continue to look at what that security posture looks like, but I'm confident in the safety of our community as we move forward. Go ahead in the middle there.
Joe Mueller, Channel 13 here in Las Vegas, ABC. Did Lookner have any sort of criminal record at all? And also, do you know when that Turo vehicle was rented?
The question was, is there any criminal record? None that I'm aware of. That has not been brought to my attention that he had a criminal record. And I said that the Cybertruck was rented on December 28th in Denver, Colorado. Right here.
Hi, Stephanie Price, Fox News.
Hi.
Hi. Have you guys been able to verify that he checked into the Resort World Hotel the day before this?
The question is, do we know if he checked into the Resorts World the day before this? I'm not aware of that information. Sir?
Mike Allen, Fox 5 Vegas. You mentioned increased security presence at the Trump International. Is that going to extend further along the Strip, or is it just there? And how long do you anticipate that?
The question is generally about the security posture, and that's entirely our entire community, not only Fremont Street and the Strip, but surrounding neighborhoods as well, just to make sure that we have the community feeling that level of safety that they need to feel after an event such as this. Right next to you there.
Katie from the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
How exactly were you guys able to use the charging stations to track the car's route?
The question is, how were we able to use the charging stations to track the vehicle all the way through? And I'm not exactly sure how to answer that question just yet. I know that there's some capability by being able to determine that the car is connected to the charger. One of the things that we're looking for is anybody that may have been at the charging location at the same time. We're looking to try to identify them because their vehicles would have also had cameras that would have taped anybody in and around them. We're trying to get people that may have been in the same locations at the same time that have video on their vehicle that could provide that video to us as well. I'll take two more. Go ahead.
Radio Dumont, again, AP. Can you talk about the damage being contained by the Cybertruck itself, and do you think that plays into whether he was aiming to hurt others, or was it a public suicide?
Yeah, the question is about the Cybertruck and the lack of damage to the Cybertruck and containing the explosion. Carlos, if you could put that truck back up there, it might be helpful, but you know, you'll see if you look on the outside of that vehicle, it's hard to tell from that photograph, but other than the windows being gone, that's a bit more disassembled than it was at the scene, and the back area being blown off. There's no evidence of physical damage to the sides of that vehicle, and so the explosion that was in that vehicle sort of vented out and up, but it didn't even damage the glass doors at the trunk. So I'm not sure what that means. I also know that there's a number of unexploded pieces of the things that he had inside of that vehicle, and so I just don't think that it was done as well as he was expecting it to be done. But go ahead.
Sofia Rodriguez with Univision Vegas. I was wondering, were you able to recover the video from the Cybertruck, or was that destructive?
So the question is, are we able to recover the video from the Cybertruck? And many of you may know that those Cybertrucks contain a tremendous number of cameras. Again, Mr. Musk has sent out a number of his folks that will be arriving here this afternoon with the intent to try to capture the part of that captured all of the video from inside of the truck. Sir?
Just quickly, you had mentioned a number of the components in the back of the truck that did not go off. Maybe this is a better suited question for ATF, but when it comes to the rudimentary nature of the bomb, I think we mostly think of a bomb that is connected. This seems like individual kind of incendiary and combustible components put together. Can you speak to how you think this is a bomb, or was it just several pieces of things that might blow up and might explode that were just lit and gone off at the same time?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it does appear that it was I just want to be careful with my language here, but the level of sophistication is not what we would expect from an individual with this type of military experience. That most of the materials inside that Tesla were fuel to help fuel a greater explosion. But it's too early to answer any question as if there was sophisticated connectivity to those components to make it ignite in the way that it did.
All right, there was one last hand over here. I'll take your last question.
Or maybe this is for Special Agent Evans, Mike Carter, Newsmax. Any idea if the suspect has been in touch with any outside terrorist groups? Has this investigation extended globally?
The question is, do we know whether the subject's been in touch with any outside terrorist groups, or if it's been investigated globally? And Spencer, you want me to? Okay.
So the question about whether it's being investigated globally, absolutely. Like I said, we're running down investigative leads around the world. No information that we're aware of right now that connects this individual to any terrorist organization around the world. But that's obviously the thrust of the investigation, is ruling out that there's any sort of terrorism nexus, and then again getting at what the ideology is.
We appreciate you all coming, and we will be back before you when there's substantial updates to provide to you. Thanks for all your great work.
All right, so that was the press conference. I want to try to maybe show you a couple of the photos that they showed a little better. But the police identified the man they believe is the driver. It is Matthew Livelsberger. Oh, hold on a second. Let me just change something here. 37 years old. Give me one moment here. I want to throw up on the screen this thing. Let's get that on the screen. Take this off. Put this up there. Get this off. That's a picture they actually showed of the Cybertruck in the briefing right there. So Matthew Livelsberger, 37 years old, from Colorado Springs, Colorado. That name had been out in the press since last night. They said, this was really striking information, that he suffered, apparently he shot himself in the head. He shot himself in the head right before the detonation. That's what they said. They said they believe he shot himself in the head right before the detonation. So I don't know. I'm not an expert on explosives, but maybe there was some sort of way that he started. I mean, I would think maybe he started the process of exploding somehow, and before he killed himself. I assume he died. I'm not sure, but before he shot himself. Yeah, I don't know the exact mechanism about that. And also, they said that they don't have a motive yet. There's no connection to terrorism ideology that they have found yet, or terrorist organizations. They said that they don't have evidence yet connecting him to the person, the truck driver in New Orleans. They said that him and the truck driver, I believe, I think they said they knew this, that they served at the same location at some point, or they were at the same military location, but they had no evidence that they actually were there at the same time or that they knew each other. They both served in Afghanistan, but they have no evidence that they were in the same province or the same unit. So they have not found a connection between those two individuals at this point. What else did he say? Yeah, I'm going to maybe try to show you a couple of those pictures they showed, and we'll take some comments from you guys. Really quickly, thank you, by the way, to Weaselman, Lonnie Schultz, Ronald Kame, Mark Barnes, Rachel Dolly Hugh for your support, Sneezing Eagle, Chris N., Vinny TV Adventures, Kender, Silver Commander, End Time Christian, Jesse's Girl. Thank you. Did I thank Linda Cosma before? Thank you. And I want to take some comments from you guys. Thanks also, Planes Were Cool, for subscribing on Twitch. Let's see. Storm Laughter said, no, he said he didn't have information about it at all, not that there was no evidence that they were. Well, I would think if there was strong evidence. I took what he was saying as saying they have no significant evidence of a connection. He said they had no information, for example, that they were there at the same time. He said that they were in the same place in Afghanistan or served at the same military base at the same time. So he's not saying, oh, we have evidence they did, but I'm not convinced. He's saying we don't have information about that at this point. He didn't say we'll never get it, but yeah, what he was saying implies that they don't have any kind of significant evidence of a connection yet between those two. That doesn't mean he says that he's saying there will never be such evidence, but right now they don't have that. Jamie Rowland says, I wonder if it was a delayed explosion. Let's see. Ash thinks he thought he was going to do some major damage. Interestingly, the authorities said that this explosive setup was less sophisticated than they would have expected from somebody with that level of military experience. That was interesting. Let's see here. Federally regulated thinks the motive is obvious. He blew Elon's truck up in front of Trump's hotel. Well, they did say that they're certainly aware of that it was at the Trump hotel and it was a Tesla, but they don't have a motive yet. They do not have it yet. Lori says they had not gone through phones or computers yet, he said. You know, I didn't, to be frank, I'd actually like to listen to this again, because I'm not going to play the whole thing again, but I don't remember hearing that. Sometimes I don't catch every single thing during the briefing sometimes because, like, for example, during this briefing, at one point I was trying to maybe switch the video to get you a video which showed you the pictures, but that didn't really work out because the sound didn't work. But while I'm doing that, I'm not really hearing what's being said. So I didn't hear that, but I don't doubt you. And they are still investigating the motive and looking into they didn't say we know everything about this. They didn't even say they're like 100% sure it's him, because they haven't what did they say? They were waiting for a DNA test? Is that what they said? But they said that they believe this is the person, but they're not 100% positive on the ID. Oh, let me show you. They showed some pictures, and let me let me show you a couple of the pictures they showed, because it's full screen. So this version is the version that they post, the Las Vegas police, and they show some pictures in this version that you couldn't see full screen in the other presentation, which was the Reuters video. So let me show you a little of this. See, there he is. That's a picture
Here
of him.
on a picture of his driver's license. Let's see.
Hold on.
20 removed.
Oh, there's all this stuff too.
Inside.
Here, let me show you these pictures.
A lot of stuff that is very useful for this investigation. As you look at this Cybertruck here, we had to transport this down to our fleet services so that we could really get through this thing. And I remind you that the subject inside wasn't able to be removed for a very long period of time because he was burnt beyond recognition. And so as we continue to move through this, I'm going to talk a little bit about his identity and what we believe, but I would like to highlight a couple of things that the teams found inside of the Cybertruck that are useful to the investigation. And that, first and foremost, is a military identification. We also found a passport. We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber semi-automatic pistol.
I'm going to stop this for a second so you can see these pictures. So you can see that's the military identification right there that they found inside the truck. I'm going to read you right now. Idris Ali from Reuters posted a statement from the U.S. military about his military service. The U.S. military said that Master Sergeant Matthew Allen Livelsberger enlisted as an 18X and served in the active duty Army from January 2006 to March 2011. Livelsberger then joined the National Guard from March 2011 till July 2012, followed by Army Reserve from July 2012 to December 2012. He entered the active duty Army in December 2012 and was a U.S. Army Special Operations soldier. So he was a U.S. Special Operations soldier in the Army. Additionally, U.S. Army Special Operations Command can confirm that Livelsberger was assigned to the command and on approved leave at the time of his death. USA SOC is in full cooperation with federal and state law enforcement agencies, but as a matter of policy will not comment on ongoing investigations. So again, he was a special operations soldier since 2012 in the U.S. Army, and he was on approved leave at the time of his death. Okay. Let me. Oh, you know what I want to put on the screen? I just want to put up there that when we play the briefing, it's not. Replay of press briefing, so people don't think I'm playing the live version. Oh, by the way, we're going to keep going on this really quick. I want to show you a live shot I have from Bourbon Street. Bourbon Street has reopened. Okay, so really quickly. that the correct audio? Really quickly, let me show you this live shot from Bourbon Street. Hang on one moment here. Just give me 1 second. Let me just get this on the screen for you. And then we'll continue going over this. Hang on. Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. And we want this to be... Hold on. Okay, here we go. Here is Bourbon Street right now. Oh, I see. Yeah, here it is. That is Bourbon Street. Oops. That's a live shot of Bourbon Street reopening. I think there's sound on this. That's it. Before they were actually showing the street. Now they're showing the guy. Okay, here you go. There it is. That's where this happened. That's right where this happened. Right? Isn't that next to Prohibition? Isn't that like basically the exact location? Why are we hearing? No, that's the correct audio. Yeah. Let me get rid of this red thing, by the way. You don't need that. Fred Red says that's crazy fast. That's daiquiri. That's daiquiri. Again, that's a live shot right there. I'm just double checking, but yes, that is right where that's right that this is where this happened. This is where the that's right where the truck ended up. Right here. And that's what it looks like right now. That's a live shot. Let me just do something real quick. It's really interesting. Live Bourbon Street. Where truck crashed. That's it. Wow. I might be able to pull up a photo for you guys of the truck when it's there, so you can compare it. We'll get back to the Cybertruck news in a second, but I thought this was really interesting to see. This. Yes, I can. Let me show you this picture right here. So if you check this out, from AP, you see that's a picture from AP. See the blue awning here? We just saw these awnings. That's where the truck ended up, and there's the blue awning. Is this thing has been taken away now? I bet we'll see. See, there's the blue right there. There are the blue awnings right there. That's it. You're looking right at it right now. See those blue awnings? That's it. Wow. All right, anyways. One of our viewers said there should be a memorial there. I wonder if they'll put anything up there. Right now, there doesn't seem to be anything even marking it. People are looking at it. Gemini Rose says you can't let the terrorists win. Life must go on. Must go on. Raging Gamer says, surprise, no flowers anywhere. Let me just change this to latest on New Orleans truck attack and Cybertruck explosion at Trump. People are taking pictures of it, see? Trump Hotel. So the building, this is what you're looking at is right where the truck came to a stop, right there. And as I mentioned, the blue awnings right here, this building, that white building, literally, that's the building, right there. See the blue awnings and the white building? That's where the truck was, right there. That's the AP photo right there. All right, we're going to go back and talk about the Cybertruck thing, but I thought this was very interesting. So we can confirm that Bourbon Street is open. I don't know if those military-looking guys are like just there, like patrolling or whatever. Raina Hood says SWAT. Must be a really strange thing to walk down that street right now. And then also I can show you guys, there is a live shot here, which I'll show you real quick, of the Sugar Bowl, of the area of the Sugar Bowl. Where is this? Maybe you can tell me where this is. Oh, that's at the Sugar Bowl. Look, I can't play the music. That is a live shot from the Sugar Bowl right there. That's at the Superdome. That is a live shot. Oops. Right there. That game starts in, I think the game starts in like 15 minutes. No, maybe like an hour and 15 minutes. It's 3 p.m. local time or something. Yeah, 4 p.m. Eastern, says Rocky Coast. So that is a live shot from the Superdome. Sound Mixer says people have to go on with their lives. Just Ryan says nothing to see here, move along. On the Sideline says kickoff in 1 hour, 14 minutes. So they're there. Michelle Batten says kickoff at 4 p.m. on ESPN. All right, so that's that. Why don't we go back to the Cybertruck press conference and talk some more about what we just heard in there? So just again to show this one more time, this is literally, you're looking right at where the truck in New Orleans crashed into the big crane thing and came to a stop, and they police shot and killed the driver of the truck. That is right what you're looking at right now on Bourbon Street. Bourbon Street is back open. They've cleaned it up. You see some people walking by, taking some pictures. That guy's stopping and looking. I don't even know, some of the people probably don't realize they're right in the location. I mean, you would have had to have, known exactly where it was. But that is that location. The street is now open. Businesses are open. A. Smith says people have short memories. All right, so we're going to go back to the Cybertruck press conference now. Let's go back and look at that. There's this. Okay, so now let's mention this now. So let's go over what I was showing you guys the photos, the visuals that they displayed during this Cybertruck press conference, and that is the Army ID that they found in the Cybertruck of Matthew Livelsberger, 37, who was an active duty special operations soldier from Colorado Springs who was on leave when this happened. Okay. Our viewer, Oilers Nation, says, why hide scared and shut the city of New Orleans down? Go on and show no fear. By the way, quick thanks to Mark Barnes. Thank you, Mark, for the gift memberships. Also, thanks to Maria Gardenapo. Maria says, this is why I don't feel sorry when bad things happen. People don't learn. That's from Maria. Thanks also, Hendershot, who says, people need to remember French Quarter is a neighborhood. People live in those apartments. Thank you also, Sebastian Lee. Sebastian Lee says, do people think that the explosion would... Did he think that somehow the explosion would detonate the batteries? Clearly, he must have known this setup wouldn't do any real damage. Something is off. All right, let's go through here. Let me just show you one more thing. This is, again, from that's the live shot there. And you see people, there's vendors, they're wheeling beers through. I mean, again, that is the street where and that's right where the truck was on Bourbon Street, right there. That's the location where the truck came to a stop. But it is back to, regular business there. That's a live shot right there. Okay, so let me take you through here and show you. This is where in the press conference, the police were talking about the visuals, some of the things they found in the truck. So let me show you this. And by the way, the audio from this version, this is the Las Vegas police version, It's only going to be in one side, the audio. That's just the way it's been for them. That something's wrong with their audio.
Truck here, we had to transport this down to our fleet services so that we could really get through this thing. And I remind you that the subject inside wasn't able to be removed for a very long period of time because he was burnt beyond recognition. And so as we continue to move through this, I'm going to talk a little bit about his identity and what we believe, but I would like to highlight a couple of things that the teams found inside of the Cybertruck that are useful to the investigation. And that, first and foremost, is a military identification. We also found a passport.
So again, I'm just going to stop on these pictures so you get a second to see them. That is the military identification. You can see it says Matthew Livelsberger. That was found in the Cybertruck. So sorry to pause it, but I want to give you a second to see it. Miss Bello thinks New Orleans is showing no reverence for the innocent victims. He was a special operations soldier on approved leave. Okay, let's keep playing here.
Found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber semi-automatic pistol.
All right, hold on a second. The pictures aren't quite lined up with the audio in the press conference, but that is the passport. Matthew Livelsberger. That is the passport right there.
We found identification. We also found a passport. We found a Desert Eagle 50 caliber semi-automatic pistol. And if you'll notice on a lot of these guns that we're going to talk about here, they're almost just burnt beyond recognition as well. There's a SLR model B30 semi-automatic firearm. Number of fireworks that were still in the vehicle that had to be removed. Notably, we found an iPhone and a smartwatch, and then several credit cards were also in the name of our subject. Our subject is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He's of Colorado Springs, Colorado, born July 22nd of 1987. Now, as you'll see here on a picture of his driver's license, let's see, the question really still remains for me, and I know that there's a lot of you folks in the media that are identifying this person as the person in our vehicle. As I mentioned to you already, his body is burnt beyond recognition, and I do still not have confirmation 100% that that is the individual that was inside of our vehicle. And so as I'm calling it now, the subject or person of interest, I will not come back until I have the confirmation through DNA or medical records that this is indeed, in fact, the subject inside of the vehicle. Now, further complicating this identification of this individual, we also discovered through the coroner's office that the individual had sustained a gunshot wound to the head prior to the detonation of the vehicle. One of the handguns was found at his feet inside of the vehicle.
So again, a really striking detail. They said, and later they said he clarified that they believe he shot himself. So he shot himself in the head right before the detonation. Wow. Search D4U says this is just so weird. North Swee says strange. Liquidator says he lit a fuse. Cynthia Masters says this is mind-bending. It makes no sense. Jazzy Renee says the firing of the gun wouldn't have caused the explosion. I guess not. I mean, there's some way he caused the explosion. G Slayer says must have had a timer to detonate the fireworks. Hang on one second here. Number of our viewers are saying dead man switch. Wikipedia says a dead man switch is a switch that is designed to be activated or deactivated if the human operator becomes incapacitated. But strictly speaking, wouldn't that be something that gets activated if the person is incapacitated? That'd be different than setting off like a fuse. According to the Wikipedia article as I'm reading it, it would be a dead man switch would be something that would be activated if the human operator becomes incapacitated. Although I don't know if I'm just wondering how people normally use the word. Yeah, so I don't know exactly how he set off the explosion to go off after he died. Ryan Bear says it's like a grip that if you let go of it goes off, which maybe there was something like that too. I don't know. Yeah, some of our viewers are saying like maybe it's something where he was holding onto it, and then when he would let it go, when he shot himself, then that's what it would activate it. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. Scott Free says maybe he's holding down a button, meaning he's holding down a button. If he dies, he just lets the button go. All right, let me just play a little more of this here.
Obviously, in how we're trying to identify him, and I'm feeling comfortable to give you this information, is a tremendous amount of substantial evidence to include he rented the Turo vehicle. There are 2 tattoos, one of which was on the stomach and one of which is on the arm, that we can see bits and pieces of it as in comparison to what it is that we now know he had on his body. That has given us a lot of confidence that this is, in fact, the same person. As well as the clearly obvious, which is the credit cards, the military identification, the passport. And then furthermore, as you'll see here in just a very short period of time, we tracked his movements from Colorado to Las Vegas, and in a number of the photographs that we were able to determine, he was the individual that was driving the vehicle. And also, I'd like to iterate this point to you, we still have only ever seen him in this vehicle, and we're not aware of any other subjects involved in this particular case.
They're going to show some more photos.
I would like to acknowledge a couple of things because I know what's going on in the social media world, and there are a number of things in this case that are similar to the attack in New Orleans. We do know that our subject here served in the military. In fact, he is a current member of the military. Both of the subjects served at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. What we do know about that is it's a very large military base, and we have no record that they served in the same unit or even at the same years at Fort Bragg, something that continues to remain under investigation. I also know that they both served in Afghanistan in 2009. We don't have any evidence that they were in the same province in Afghanistan, the same location, or the same unit. Again, something else that remains under investigation. And we also know, of course, that they both used the rental company Turo to rent their vehicles. As far as his military background, it's been confirmed by DOD that he was indeed in the United States Army. He was also a Green Beret operations sergeant who spent most of his time at Fort Carson, Colorado, and in Germany. He was on approved leave from Germany, where he was serving with the 10th Special Forces Group. He was also previously in the National Guard and the Army Reserve. I'd like to point out to you that through exceptional joint investigative effort, we've gotten to a place where we believe we can show you his route to Las Vegas from Colorado. And Carlos,
all right, so now we can
the map
see this
there for you. And we know that he rented the Cybertruck in Denver.
We weren't able to see this map during the first presentation of the press conference, so I wanted to show you guys this. This is the route he took from Colorado to Vegas. and they'll describe the right now. By the way, thanks so much to Janet Burnett. I really appreciate your support, Janet. Thank you, Janet Burnett, so much. Also, Ian Field in Welsh 32 and Mark Barnes. Yes, well, as Welsh mentioned, and the press conference mentions, he was a Special Forces soldier on approved leave. Ian Field thinks a dead man switch sounds unlikely, as the ATF said the explosive wasn't very sophisticated, given his military background. All right, so this is the description of the route he took once he rented the car here.
On the map there for you. And we know that he rented the Cybertruck in Denver on December 28th. We tracked his movements through the Tesla charging stations to Monument, Colorado on December 30th. On the 31st of December, the truck was charged in Trinidad, Colorado, Las Vegas, New Mexico, and Albuquerque and Gallup, New Mexico. On January 1st, the truck was charged in Holbrook, Flagstaff, and Kingman, Arizona. We last tracked the truck in Kingman at 05:33 yesterday morning.
It's really interesting. He left Denver on December 28th, and this happened on New Year's Day. So, I just saw something, by the way. So the point I was going to make is he had like 3 days. It's not like a spur of the... I mean, assuming he was thinking of doing this when he rented the truck, right? Because he put the explosives in the truck. I mean, that's several days where he would have known he was going to do this. Assuming that's why he knew, assuming that was his plan in renting the truck. But it's certainly not a spur of the moment thing. I mean, that's 3 days of driving. By the way, there was just a video that CNN showed, which there's a video that came out. I don't know if I have access to it. I'll post a link in the chat. There's a video that came out of the suspect in the truck bombing in New Orleans, like outside the Airbnb where he was staying. I think that's like just come out. I only saw a second of it. But if I can, if I find a link to it, I will certainly let you know. Let me just check that again. Just make sure what I was seeing here. But I just, out of the corner of my eye, I saw that being played. Yeah, it's a video that shows the suspect outside his Airbnb. I just saw CNN was just showing it. It's him. Oh, the truck is there. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. It's a doorbell video that CNN just showed that shows the guy unloading the white, you can see him with the white truck, like on the street, unloading it outside his Airbnb before the attack. That's interesting. Again, it's CNN said CNN exclusive, so I think this is just coming out. So if I can find a link to it, I'll post it in the chat, and then you guys can go look at it. I don't have the rights to the video. Maybe I can find a link right now and post it for you guys right now. Have they posted it yet? Residence doorbell camera captured New Orleans suspect outside his Airbnb and rental before the attack. But they don't have the video posted there. All right, anyways. It's kind of spooky to see that truck. All right, anyways. If and when I get that, I'll post a link in the chat. But this is the route he took, and as I was mentioning, the police said he took 3 days to get from Denver. Denver's the 28th. So the 28th, 29th, 30th. I mean, if he took, it could have been more like 4 days if he took some of the 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, and then it gets to Vegas. Then in Vegas, the explosion is on the 1st. When did the New Orleans guy leave? I forget. Did he rent the truck like a couple days before? If you know what, wait a couple minutes. Remind me. I'll write down. I have to look that up when we talk about that again. I don't want to get too far off this because we keep going away from this. Let me just show you 2 days. Christopher Reed and Jesus Save Sinners said 2 days. That's what I thought I remembered for the New Orleans guy. Oh, CNN did post the video? Again, if I can get it for you, I'll post a link. I can't find it right now. I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, here it is. I got it. Okay, so I'm going to post a link to you. If you guys want to see the doorbell video of the New Orleans attacker outside of his Airbnb, like unloading some stuff from that white pickup truck, I am literally posting a link right now in the chat. I just posted a link. It's a web link to the CNN exclusive video of the doorbell camera where you can see the truck outside the Airbnb. All right. By the way, thank you to MAGA since 1492, who says, time to stop teaching the military about explosives. Did anybody look at that video? All right, so let me play you the description from this press conference. Jazzy Renee watched it. Let me play you the description from the press conference of the person of the Cybertruck driver, his path. By the way, Haley Britsky of CNN just reported that Army records show that Matthew Livelsberger, who is the man that the police say drove the Cybertruck, Haley Britsky says Army records show he had 5 Bronze Stars, including one with Valor device, which is awarded for valor in combat. No, I did not post anything to my X account. I will post the link to the CNN video again of the doorbell cam showing the guy, the New Orleans attacker, at his Airbnb, outside his Airbnb with the truck. I just posted it again in the chat. Ali B says the video is creepy. Tamara says it looks like he is moving something heavy. All right, now let's go to this and hear the description of the route.
Kirky and Gallup. The 31st, up the map there for you. And we know that he rented the Cybertruck in Denver on December 28th. We tracked his movements through the Tesla charging stations to Monument, Colorado on December 30th. On the 31st of December, the truck was charged in Trinidad, Colorado. Las Vegas, New Mexico, and Albuquerque and Gallup, New Mexico. On January 1st, the truck was charged in Holbrook, Flagstaff, and Kingman, Arizona. We last tracked the truck in Kingman at 05:33 yesterday morning. The truck was first spotted in Las Vegas at 7:29 a.m. yesterday. And Carlos will pull up a picture of the truck pulling onto Fashion Show Drive here. And
that is the truck, wow, pulling onto Fashion Show Drive on the 1st, shortly before it went to the Trump Hotel. Wow. That's it. With all the incendiary stuff inside. Daniel Mao says, wow. Scene says, streets are so empty. Now, this would have been around, if I remember right, wasn't the Vegas explosion around like 8:30 in the morning? This would have been pretty early in the morning on New Year's Day. 8:39 a.m. is when the explosion happened, and the truck arrived in Vegas around 7:30. I checked the Wikipedia page for that detail, but that matches what I remember from the press conferences. So again, this is probably around, some like around 8 in the morning. 8 in the morning, the day, a few hours after New Year's Eve.
At 29 a.m. yesterday. And Carlos will pull up a picture of the truck pulling on 9 a.m. yesterday. It was first spotted in Las Vegas at 7:29 a.m. yesterday. And Carlos will pull up a picture of the truck pulling onto Fashion Show Drive here. And that picture was observed at about 7:34 a.m.
That's 7:34 a.m. That's 5 minutes after he got to Vegas. 7:34 a.m. So that's like an hour before the explosion. Rob P. says, it's early New Year's Day. Everyone partied New Year's Eve night. Pins and Needles says, does his wife know where he was off to? Yeah, I mean, it's a good question as to, he was traveling for 3 days. I believe he was married. That's what I've read. If that's true, what did he tell her or other people that he was doing? Did he tell them what he was doing? Did he talk to them on the road? We don't know.
We know that he pulled into the Trump valet. I believe we have a video of that. You can see the Cybertruck highlighted there.
Look at this. Ooh, they have it. Hold on. Do they go full screen on this? No, I gotta get out of the way so you can see it. Hold on. It's too bad they didn't go full screen on this. That's the video of the truck pulling into the Trump Hotel valet area. There it is right there. There's the truck.
So through extensive surveillance video, we were able to track him leaving there, and we know that he went to several different places along Las Vegas Boulevard, and he spent some time in a parking lot of a business near Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard. We didn't have a video of the truck pulling back onto Las Vegas Boulevard from the sands.
Oops. There it is.
See that there? That's north on the boulevard from Sands at 8:39, where he then immediately heads to the Trump Hotel, pulls into the valet area, And as, of course, you all know, the explosion occurs within 17 seconds of his arrival at the valet. There's some.
So the explosion happened 17 seconds after he arrived at the valet area. And remember, he also shot himself in the head. So that all happened very fast. 17 seconds after he pulled up there, within 17 seconds, he shot himself in the head and the explosion happened. All in 17 seconds. Wow. Thank you, Gregory Prim. Gregory says, I've lived in Vegas for 45 years. This was not about killing people. It was about making a statement about Elon and Trump. That's what Gregory thinks. You might be right. You might be right, Gregory. I don't know. You know, I don't know if we're going to find, we haven't heard that he wrote anything or posted anything. Man, I mean, you know, I can't get in his head. And also, look, he also took his own life, so, which is sad, you know. I don't know anything about his personal history, you know, and what was going on with him. But, you know, maybe there's a bunch of things going on here. But certainly, as Gregory says, I mean, you'd think that possibly trying to make some sort of statement, but also he did take his own life. It's an act of taking his own life as well, sadly. So, I don't know. They're trying to figure out his motivation. Eugene Beecher says, I have no proof this was suicide. So the police literally saying in the press conference that he shot himself in the head is no proof this is suicide? By the way, I do really appreciate our moderators in the chat. RJ, Roberts Mayqueen. Thank you for being there. Linda Belk and Larry on Twitch. I Got That Fire, Sarah and Surly Dev. Margaret Riley, Kay Lowry Body on Facebook. Ronald Egnor. Very much appreciate all of our... Christina Neal, very much appreciate all of our moderators. Thank you. All right, let me play a little more of this.
Some additional investigative updates that are going to be provided to you by a couple of the other speakers here, the first of which will be our special agent in charge of the FBI local office, Spencer Evans. Spencer?
Good morning. My name is Spencer Evans. I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas division. As the sheriff mentioned, we've been working through the night with our partners, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and other agencies, to gather all the facts and determine a motive to what was initially reported to the FBI as a bombing incident, to which our special agent bomb techs and others responded. Obviously, we're always concerned in these sorts of events to ascertain what the motive is. We understand that's everybody's at the forefront of everyone's thoughts. And so looking into exactly what the motivation is remains our number one priority. This is why the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force has been brought into play. The Joint Terrorism Task Force, most important part of that acronym is joint. It is done in concert with our partners, which are comprised of more than a dozen investigative agencies here throughout the state of Nevada. We've been working hand in glove, side by side, tirelessly to determine, is there any ongoing threat to the public, to identify the subject, to determine any potential connection to other events going on in the world, most notably in New Orleans, and then obviously to determine if there's anything else that we need to be tracking down. At this time, as the sheriff's pointed out, we feel that the subject has been identified, although not conclusively, waiting for DNA evidence on that front. However, we do feel like we have the subject identified, and at this time there is no information about additional subjects that the FBI is tracking on. Our resources, as I mentioned, that have been deployed in support of this event include Special Agent bomb techs, our evidence response team, which is processing crime scenes, side by side with the forensics folks from Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, our investigators, our intelligence analysts, and then outside of the FBI Las Vegas field office, we have investigative leads that are being conducted by FBI field offices, both internationally and domestically as well. As always, when the FBI is involved with any sort of case like this, we ask for help for the public. Anyone with information related to this incident, we encourage you to please call 1-800. Call is to separate those that are pertinent and relevant and those that can be. Just today relates to information alluding to this subject's personal experiences related to his time and activity in the military. Again, that's unverified and uncorroborated, but one of many tips and leads that we will be following up in the days that come. If you have any additional information, again, encourage everyone, 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit it online, tips.fbi.gov. We will tirelessly work to exhaust all investigative leads and conclusively determine what the nature of this particular incident was, what the motivation was, and to the extent possible, share all that information as we obtain it. I'll now turn some time over to the Assistant Special Agent in charge from the ATF, Kenny Cooper.
Our expertise in post-blast investigations and our crime gun intelligence to specifically assist in this investigation.
I might forward through this a little bit. I just want to show you some of the stuff from the press
components and investigative leads that will investigate with.
Oh, here, let's look at this here.
Evidence process. We're too early into that investigation process to give any determination as far as how this device was initiated. I will say that we do know that the components primarily consist of fireworks, mortars, aerial shells, and are all consumer fireworks. Nothing commercial grade has been discovered at this point, and we've identified some fuel enhancers like the Coleman fuel and VP Racing fuel, and some explosive targets that can be purchased at any sporting goods store. We've also, as the sheriff mentioned, we've identified 2 semi-automatic handguns recovered from the Tesla. We have successfully traced those firearms, and I can tell you that Matthew Livesberg lawfully purchased both of these firearms on December 30th, 2024. We have agents following up those investigative leads. We know exactly where those firearms were purchased, and we will share any developments from those leads as they come in. Thank you.
So you could see the pictures of the 2 guns just, burnt up in the explosion. I don't want to. So I was just going over. I was just going over this press conference to show you guys some of the details again. I know some of you probably didn't see it. There's a short period of Q&A. I don't need to replay the questions again. If you guys really want to, I can replay the Q&A again. But again, they don't have a motive right now. That's being. There's no evidence that he was working with anyone that they've gotten. So unless people, I don't see a lot of people shouting out and saying, "I want to see the Q&A again." I do want to watch. I wasn't live for it, so there's a whole other. I want to talk about the latest update on the New Orleans attack. So why don't we can switch over to that? I'll read a couple more comments on this. But we can talk about the New Orleans attack more too. Okay, so I'll do that. But we'll take a couple more comments on this. Let me just show you again the. Yeah, there's one of the guns. There's the other gun. And then there's his military ID. Mac Knight says he served about 2 decades in the armed forces. He was a special operations soldier since about 2012. Our viewer says, do we know his religious view? I haven't heard anything about that. Could that also be a wild coincidence, or am I crazy? I don't recall hearing anything about that. Now, I haven't read every single article about him, so I don't know. But that I'm not familiar with. Damien said, poll on if both incidents are connected. Yeah, I did a poll on that last night. I'll do one again if people want. I can do a quick poll on if the incidents are connected. To clarify, there has not been any kind of evidence presented by the authorities of any contact between the two or any, any connection. There has not been, I would say, any kind of significant evidence presented of any connection between the two. Now, someone might say, well, there's information they served at Fort Bragg. In this press conference, the Vegas police person, I think maybe it's the chief, said, well, we haven't found any information that they served there at the same time. So I want to be clear on what we know and don't know. But I can do a quick poll on it and see what you guys say. We'll do it real quick. Doesn't take long to put that up. Except on Facebook, where it takes forever to post a poll because of the weird way Facebook is. Let's see if I can do that real quick over there. And then we'll get to the latest details on the New Orleans attack. What happened here? Did this not work? Okay, I think I just activated. All right, let me show you what people are saying in response to the poll. Let me show you what people are saying. On YouTube, our viewers say 61% on YouTube say yes, the two events are connected. That's on YouTube. On Twitch, our viewers say 59% say no on Twitch. And then I'll just have to report to you what people say on Facebook. On Facebook, people are saying, oops, I'm hearing two of me. On Facebook, 40% are saying yes and 60% are saying no. Thanks to Diane Allworth for subscribing over there on Facebook, by the way. Margaret Riley and Kayla Aribadi, too. Thanks for subscribing. Wendy says there's currently 52,000 people at Fort Bragg. Station there? Are you sure? Wikipedia says it has over 52,000 military personnel. All right, thanks for voting in the poll. YouTube, 62% yes. Twitch, 64% no. And Facebook ended up at what? Did this refresh here? Can't even open it here. Facebook ended up at, is it going to open up for me here? 50-50 on Facebook. All right, now I got to end that poll. Let's end the poll. Close results. Okay. Move this, remove this, and that. Skyla says they are obviously related. Barry says, crazy how perceptions differ. Girly Sound says, GG Facebook. All right, now what we want to do is give you guys an update on New Orleans. Thanks to Damien for your support. Thanks Carl Legend Streener for being a new member. Thank you again, Mark Barnes. Mark Barnes says, please don't give this man credit for anything. I think he's talking about Matthew Livelsberger. Thanks, Mark. Thank you, Randy. Randy says if it was a message he was trying to send, he could have drove through the door. MAGA since 1492 says, burning hurts, but in my opinion, it's sending a message also. Hey, thank you to Gringo for the gift memberships. I really appreciate that, Gringo. Thank you. Also, thanks to thanks for your support on Twitch. Face for subscribing. And Massachusetts guy, thanks for the gift subs. That's really nice of you on Twitch, Massachusetts guy. Okay. Now, let's do this. By the way, while I pull that up, here is a picture from the Superdome. By the way, while I pull that up, here is a picture from... Why am I hearing two things? I'm hearing two things. Oh, I know why. That is the Superdome in New Orleans, where the Sugar Bowl, which was delayed from last night, is going to start in, I think, 26 minutes. That's a live shot there via Reuters. It is not a replay of a press conference. Oh, thank you again, Gringo. Gringo just gave a bunch more of you memberships in YouTube. That's really nice of you, Gringo. Please make sure you thank Gringo or anybody else if they give you a membership or a subscription. Very nice of Gringo. Thank you. Now, okay, what am I pulling up here? Yes, here it is. Okay, I have for you guys an update. Ooh, do I have it here? This is what I want to show you. I want to show you this version. No, not there. What is the best way for me to do this for you guys? Let's see. That's how I'm going to do it. Actually, let me try it. I'm pulling up the briefing from before for you. I just want to try to figure out the best way to show it to you. New Orleans. This should be from today. I got it. I'm just pulling up the briefing right now so we can check it out and let you guys watch it and talk about it, get you the update. Wow, that is incredibly generous of Tin God. Tin God GFY just became a member and just gave 50 of you memberships. Tin God just gave 50 people memberships in the chat. That's incredibly generous of you. Thanks so much, Tin God GFY. Please make sure you thank Tin God if you got a membership from Tin God. That's really nice of you. Thank you. Also, thanks to Weaselman for gifting a membership, and Bass300, who thinks Vegas was political and timed with the change of office. New Orleans was ideological and timed when a lot of people were in the open. One article I was reading last night, I forget where I was reading it. It might have been The Economist. But it talked about this idea that maybe the New Orleans attacker targeted New Orleans because he thought, like, Bourbon Street, he thought maybe the behavior there was immoral. A lot of people like drinking and going to clubs and stuff. I don't know, but maybe that's, maybe that was part of that targeting Bourbon Street. And on New Year's Eve, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting view. Not that it was justified, of course, obviously. But yeah, running over people is immoral. I'm certainly not saying it would justify it. I'm just trying to say, why that target? What might have been the person's mind? So I'm just downloading the. It takes a second, but what I'm doing is I'm downloading a good version to show you of the press briefing from earlier today. Hold on a second. I got to check. Let me take a couple more of your comments too before we get to that. Oh, did the president just say something? Oh, Biden is speaking right now. I think he just said something about this crap. Biden is speaking. Oh no, is it on their White House Live? He's not speaking about this specifically. Yeah, I got it right here. Sorry. Oh, I can. Yeah, Biden just mentioned something about this. Hold on, I'm going to show you. Biden is speaking, and I'm going to pull it up for you guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewind it like a minute to just get the start of it. He's not speaking on the terror attacks. He's speaking on judicial confirmations. But he just started and he said something about it, okay? So let me show you what he had to say. This is Biden moments ago. There's Schumer. All right. So this is moments ago. Joe Biden moments ago. And let me just put this on the screen so you can hear what he had to say. Here is Biden. He says something about the terror attacks, I believe.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure you're clapping because I finally showed up. I do apologize. We had a very busy schedule the last over from New Year's Day on, dealing with two crises, one in Louisiana and one in Las Vegas. And I've assembled the entire defense and intelligence apparatus of the country in the Situation Room, and we've been spending a lot of time there. But I'm going to take another 2 minutes to talk a little bit about that and then go on to what we're here for. I want to give an update on the investigations into yesterday's terrorist attacks in New Orleans and the truck explosion in Las Vegas. I've just come from the meeting, not just, it's been, well, we prepared these remarks, better part of an hour, from my Homeland Security team. The number of people killed in New Orleans has risen to 15, including the attacker. 35 people were injured. Today, the FBI briefed me that as of now, we have no information that anyone else is involved in the attack. They've established that the attacker was the same person who planted the explosives in those ice coolers in 2 nearby locations in the French Quarter just a few hours before he rammed into the crowd with his vehicle. They assessed he had a remote detonator in his vehicle to set off those 2 ice chests. So there's no question that, remember all the talk about other people were involved, placed in, they have him, they have established he's there, and even established that he had a detonator to explode those ice chests. As I said yesterday, the attacker posted several videos just several hours before the attack, indicating his strong support for ISIS. Federal law enforcement and the intelligence community are actively investigating any foreign or domestic contacts and connection that could possibly be relevant to the attack. And so we're also continuing to investigate whether or not there's any connection between the New Orleans attack and the explosion in Las Vegas. As of now, they've just been briefed. They have not found any evidence of such a connection thus far. I've directed them to keep looking. The individual who rented the truck that exploded in Las Vegas also served as active duty U.S. Army. And the FBI is working with the Department of Defense on investigating, including the service members' possible motives and all those he worked with, who served with him, with things he'd say and do. I directed my team to accelerate these investigations so we have answers to our unanswered questions. They're making every single resource available to get the job done. And we're going to share the facts as soon as I learn them so the American public doesn't have to wonder. In the meantime, like I said last night, New Orleans is a city of tremendous spirit. You can't keep it down. You really can't. And we're seeing that today. The Sugar Bowl is back on. Kickoff is going to take off very shortly. If I don't get this damn thing done, we're going to be in real trouble. And the FBI has handed control of Bourbon Street back to local officials. Security of the area has been reinforced, and they should be open for business later today, the Bourbon Street. People in New Orleans are sending an unmistakable message. They will not let this attack or the attackers' deluded ideology overcome us. None of us should fear that he'll overcome us. We're going to continue to relentlessly pursue ISIS and other terrorist organizations where they are, and they'll find no safe harbor here. I'll continue to provide updates in New Orleans and Las Vegas as the facts develop. Now to the business at hand.
All right, so what you heard him say, he said a couple things. First of all, he said that it is believed right now that the New Orleans attacker acted alone. Also, that the New Orleans attacker placed, I believe, a couple IEDs in the area hours before the attack, and then he had a detonator with him that was supposed to make them go off. I don't know why they didn't go off. We're going to check the press conference from before also, but you heard him say that. And also that they have no evidence of a connection right now between the Vegas and New Orleans incidents. And really quick, I mean, this was quick. I'm not going to replay that whole thing, but I just want to replay the couple of the quick things he said about what we've learned so far. Because, I mean, he just said this, so this is an update. He said he just came from meeting with his team.
And what we're here for. I want to give an update on the investigations into yesterday's terrorist attacks in New Orleans and the truck explosion in Las Vegas. I've just come from the meeting, not just to spend, while we prepare these remarks, better part of an hour, from my Homeland Security team. The number of people killed in New Orleans has risen to 15, including the attacker. 35 people were injured. Today, the FBI briefed me that as of now, we have no information that anyone else is involved in the attack.
As of now, we have no information that anyone else was involved in the attack in New Orleans. Now, I will say this. So I certainly think it's good when, any kind of governmental organization updates its beliefs based on new evidence. However, I do. Yesterday's press conference, not just the FBI, but so many people at that press conference, Senator Senator Kennedy, I think it was Senator Kennedy, for example, and the FBI, and I believe others, there was such a tone of that press conference of like being sure that other people were involved. Like it was so emphasized yesterday. So, I mean, I think what happened, from what I can gather, what might have happened is there was a police report, I think from Louisiana State Police, from what I've read, that claimed that that there were people on video placing one or more IEDs. So if I had to guess, my thought is, based on what we've heard, that they yesterday thought that they had evidence of people placing IEDs. I don't know what other evidence they had. They never said what evidence they had that there are other people involved. But my point is, I don't know. I feel like if you go from yesterday to today, all of a sudden go from yesterday right after the crime saying like, oh, other people were involved, to just today, this morning, saying, oh, nobody else is involved. We don't have any information. That probably means to me that your evidence wasn't so great yesterday. I guess my point is this. If they're changing their assessment so fast from being so sure others were involved to, oh, there's nobody else involved, we have no information, nobody else is involved, that suggests to me that your evidence for others being involved wasn't that great to begin with, and maybe you shouldn't have been so sure yesterday. That's my point. I guess my point is that maybe they shouldn't have been so sure yesterday if the evidence was so not strong that by today they're just like, oh, well, there's no evidence, right? So that's my point. It surprises me that if they had such strong evidence yesterday to be so sure that other people were involved, so did all that strong evidence just evaporate in one day? Kind of sounds to me like it's more likely that they had some sort of evidence yesterday, which wasn't that strong, and they found out that, it wasn't what we thought it was or something. That's my point. It's just, it's very strange to me to go from being so confident and so assertive about it right after the event to just less than 24 hours later saying, oh, we have no information that anybody else was involved. I don't think it's a good look. I don't think it just, again, just as my personal opinion is that their confidence yesterday and their assertiveness was excessive based on the evidence they had. That's just my guess. Given that literally that to this morning, there's, in the press conference this morning, they said the same thing. They're saying, oh, we don't have evidence of it. It's just very strange. You could have said yesterday, we right now have some evidence suggesting others are involved. We're not sure about this. I forget the exact language though yesterday. They were much more assertive about it yesterday. Let's see here. Shockingly thinks they tried to manufacture the narrative, but the facts got in the way. Again, I have no evidence that they were, I have no evidence that they were saying stuff that they knew wasn't true. I just think it sounds to me like they outran their evidence. San Miguel says they got carried away. Michael Rudolph thinks I'm getting nuts. I think it's not a great look. Because what you don't want is next time they come out and say something, You don't want people to say, well, last time you told us something one day and you changed it the next day. Now, again, I certainly think they should update their beliefs based on the evidence. But why not yesterday say something a little more measured? You know, it's a very quick change of position. And literally, Biden just said, we have no evidence, no information that anybody else was involved. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Z said it started bad. The FBI lady said first thing, it's not terrorism. I still don't know. I still think that maybe she misspoke or something like that. On that first day when the mayor said it was terrorism and then the police chief said it was intentional and then the FBI person got up there and said, something like, we don't have a terrorist act. What we have is this. But it sounded like maybe... I think she might have been trying to say something a little different, like about something more specific. I mean, it certainly came out wrong. I mean, that was a very quick appearance by her too. Anyways, kind of strange. Yeah, Tracy Johnson says, doesn't give citizens confidence. Sarah55 says, that's why the police don't like to comment on things too soon. And nobody was making them yesterday come out and say, oh, other people are involved. Allistic thinks the first day the person from the FBI who spoke, it was a word mistake on her part. Maybe it was. All right, so sorry, I was just going to play you like a minute more of this because I was just replaying you what Biden just said a couple minutes ago. So he said that they have no information that anyone else was involved in the New Orleans attack. Now let's just go over what else he said.
Information. We have no information that anyone else was involved in the attack. They've established that the attacker was the same person who planted the explosives in those ice coolers in 2 nearby locations in the French Quarter just a few hours before he rammed into the crowd with his vehicle. They assess he had a remote detonator in his vehicle to set off those 2 ice chests. So there's no...
Okay, so the attacker planted 2 IEDs in ice coolers in the French Quarter several hours before the attack and had a remote detonator with him in the vehicle. I don't know why that didn't go off or the deal with that, but you just heard that's what the president just said a couple minutes ago. That's the latest information he has. Anyways, that's the latest update from he just came from the meeting with his team. Roger Shoemaker says, I'm glad they didn't go off. Did he try to set them off? By the way, thanks so much to Gringo, who gave 20 more people memberships. That's very kind of Gringo. Thank you, Gringo, for all your support. Thanks for all those memberships. Also, thanks to Mama Yoli, our member, Georgia Culture, our member. Thank you, Georgia Culture, for being a member for so long. Annie L, our member too. Brent, thank you. Chris Lee UK, thank you. Chris Lee UK, Apoc Medic. Faux ARC, thanks for being a member. Yeweh Always, thanks for being a member. Hendershot. Hendershot said the FBI literally said they had video of 2 men and 1 woman placing the cooler bombs. Is that what, I don't remember what exactly the FBI said in the press conference yesterday. Is that what they said, that they had the video of it? I can't remember. Didn't they, isn't that what they said, that they had video of them placing explosives? Is that what it was yesterday? I don't remember exactly like what I read and what statement was said when. Crazy Time said they did say that. I wonder if I can go back and find their press releases. I don't see a press release with that, but maybe they said it in their press conference. I have to try to maybe check that from yesterday. But I don't want to, maybe when I get a second, I'll go check exactly what they said yesterday. We covered it. I just forget the exact language used yesterday. I could probably look and actually see. I probably posted about it yesterday. When that press conference happened yesterday. But I don't want to get hung up on it. Let's see here. God, was it really yesterday? It seems like longer ago. I can't believe this was yesterday. I can't find it. Well, maybe we can take a look in a little bit at the press conference from yesterday. Anyways, well, let's keep moving forward for right now. Thank you to Steve Ward, by the way, for being a member, and Allie B. from Tennessee, who says, how is an ISIS supporter part of the U.S. military? He was not, the suspect in the driver of the truck in New Orleans was not currently in the military. Not right now. Now, I guess Allie might be asking, how does somebody who was in the military for a long time end up being an ISIS supporter, which is a fair question. There are some articles floating around about the person's background. But he had fairly recently become radicalized, from what the articles are saying. C. Ayers says radicalized. Evelyn in Maine says snaps. All right, let's thank you, Jason D. in Colorado, our member, and MAGA since 1492, who says the crazy guy came from Germany. I believe you're talking, are you saying the driver, the Cybertruck, I believe had been serving for a time in Germany in the U.S. Special Forces. And then one of our viewers said, has there been an update on the vehicle on the sidewalk at the Capitol? Yes. The Capitol Police found a suspicious vehicle this morning, but they cleared it. The Capitol Police said, hold on a second here. Where is it here? Our bomb squad cleared the car and declared that it's safe. The driver is being arrested for reckless driving. That was this morning. They spotted a car that had been driving along the sidewalk near Peace Circle and into the grassy area near 3rd Street Northwest. But they declared the car was safe and they arrested the guy for reckless driving. Oops, we don't want that. All right, let's go back to what Biden said. Thanks for your support, by the way. I appreciate it. And Ken Lance, thank you, Ken Lance. Much appreciated, Ken. So again, Biden said there's no evidence that anybody else was involved in New Orleans. He said he was told a few minutes ago, he said he was told that the New Orleans attacker, a few hours before the attack, placed 2 IEDs in ice coolers in the French Quarter and had a remote detonator with him in his vehicle, which was supposed to be able to set off those IEDs, those explosives.
No question that, remember all the talk about other people were involved, placed him, they have established he's there, and even established that he had a detonator to explode those ice chests. As I said yesterday, the attacker posted several videos just several hours before the attack, indicating his strong support for ISIS. Federal law enforcement and the intelligence community are actively investigating any foreign or domestic contacts and connection that could possibly be relevant to the attack. And so we're also continuing to investigate whether or not there's any connection between the New Orleans attack and the explosion in Las Vegas. As of now, they've just been briefed. They have not found any evidence of such a connection thus far.
As of now, no evidence of a connection between the two attacks. That is President Biden a few minutes ago. As of now, no evidence of a connection between the two attacks. That's the latest update on that. Yeah, Terry Reyes, we covered that before. If you missed it, we at the start of the stream, we played the press conference live from Las Vegas, where they said, one of the things they said is that the person driving the Cybertruck shot himself in the head just seconds before the Cybertruck detonated. My hope for us says, I work on the Las Vegas Strip, and it's scary to think what could happen here. One of our viewers said of the two events, Two Dog Mom says, crazy coincidence. Yeah, it's pretty wild that those two things happened on the same day. But again, no evidence so far that there's a connection. I heard someone on TV last night, a law enforcement expert being interviewed, say something that I thought made sense to me. And what he said is that authorities would look at the explosives in both. They'd look at the explosives in the Cybertruck, and they'd look at these, I guess, the IEDs. And one thing they could tell pretty easily is if there's a connection between the explosives. He said it'd be pretty easy for them to tell if they're just made totally differently. Then, at least in that sense, that's something they could establish whether there's a connection in that sense or not. JP, son of JL, there was no confirmation about whether the person in the Cybertruck was alive still when it detonated. I don't know if that person killed himself or not when he shot himself in the head. I don't even know if they're going to be able to establish that. Andy says, freaky coincidence, let's hope. Let's hear what else Biden said. I think he just gave a couple minutes of remarks here.
I've directed them to keep looking. The individual who rented the truck that exploded in Las Vegas also served as active duty U.S. Army. And the FBI is working with the Department of Defense on investigating, including the service member's possible motives and all those he worked with, who served with him, with things he'd say and do. I directed my team to accelerate these investigations so we have answers to our unanswered questions. They're making every single resource available to get the job done. And we're going to share the facts as soon as I learn them so the American public doesn't have to wonder. In the meantime, like I said last night, New Orleans is a city of tremendous spirit. You can't keep it down. You really can't.
Okay, so that was his update. So what I want to do now for you is talk about the update that officials gave before this Biden update, which I have for you, which is right here. This is from AFP. I have the AFP update. The AFP version of it. Where is it here? Give me 1 second here. Yes, okay. So I'm going to put that on the screen for you right now, and we're going to watch it. And we'll take your comments. Let me just, I need to get it on the screen for you. Oops, that's the U.S. Capitol Police thing. We don't need that up there. Right. Right here. Here we go. Is there audio on this? Here we go. So this was earlier today.
to remember
All right, so we're going to take a look at what the authorities said. Earlier today. Hold on a second here. A couple people mentioned smoke in the French Quarter. Intel Point Alert said there was some sort of residential fire going on in the French Quarter. That was posted about, I think, a half an hour ago. According to Intel Point Alert, there was a Intel Point Alert on X said that they had heard it was a residential fire on Chartres Street in the French Quarter. And that was posted 36 minutes ago. I would think if there was some kind of big, serious, attack-related thing going on, for 36 minutes, we'd hear something else about it right now. Okay. I don't know how you say that word, by the way. Hold on a second here. In French, the pronunciation would be charte, I guess. Chartres. Charte. Yeah, again, folks, I have no information that the smoke in the French Quarter is anything else than some sort of residential fire. AZ Intel posted about it 43 minutes ago, okay? So, again, I would think if there was some sort of attack-related thing going on in the French Quarter for 45 minutes, we would have heard more about it by now. That's my thought on that. Oh, Kiwi NZ, our viewer, says, what happened with the SWAT search of the New Orleans attacker's home? FBI Houston said that they searched his home this morning. That was the one they were outside of last night. FBI Houston said, you can see it right here. Hold on. At approximately 7:50 a.m., FBI Houston and Harris County Sheriff's Office conducted a court-authorized search and cleared the 12,000 block of Crescent Peak Drive. That is the believed to be the home of the New Orleans attacker in North Houston. We are unable to provide any details due to the ongoing nature of the investigation. So that's that. KB Longhorn says, maybe what they said yesterday about other attackers is true in today, sweeping it under the rug. I have a hard time believing that. My guess is that they just have, the information is different today and they found out that the information yesterday wasn't what they thought. I mean, I have a hard time thinking that if there's say video evidence of other people placing explosives, that the FBI is going to come out and say there isn't any, and then which would leave themselves open to just being proven wrong very quickly. That's my thought. But I appreciate you writing in KB Longhorn. All right, let's get into this. Sorry, there's a bunch of comments here. I've been trying to read a lot of comments on the year. I'll try to get to some more of them, but I don't want to. I want to just give you some of the update from today, with the official update before Biden spoke on the New Orleans attack. All right, here we go.
All right. Y'all all ready? We good? All right, well, good morning. I first want to start off by reminding the citizens of Louisiana that as you travel around the state, you will see the flags of all state buildings at half-mast in honor of those lives that were lost in this horrific act of violence. I also think that it's important to remember that what happened yesterday was akin to those who are old enough to remember jigsaw puzzles. And that you would take a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle and you empty the box and you've got to start sifting through those pieces. And you want to start, if you're real good, you start at the corners, right? Try to put your corners together. And from yesterday to today, over 1,000 law enforcement agents and officers, men and women, have been poring over countless amounts of data, of videos, of surveillances, interviews, tracking down every possible lead that came to us, whether it was the New Orleans Police Department, the Louisiana State Police, the FBI, or our other federal agencies. Also yesterday, I issued an emergency declaration. That declaration was meant to streamline resources and communications between state, local, and federal partners. And we're seeing the results of it. I also would like to remind everyone that what's going on in this city, in this state, is twofold. We've got an active criminal investigation going on, while we're also continuing to secure the city in preparation for 3 o'clock kickoff time for the Sugar Bowl. With that, I would also remind those who are in the city that as far as state resources are concerned, we have the Louisiana State Police, the Louisiana National Guard, which was part of that emergency declaration, which allowed us to put an entire MP company on the ground. Those become force multipliers, is what we call that in law enforcement and the military. That helps to add to the resources that we have. Wildlife and Fisheries, the Department of Corrections, DSF, DHS, our Veterans Affairs, our Probation and Parole, all state agencies. Any state agency who has a post-certified officers are here in this city to help secure the city. And so with that, I would like to turn it over to Christopher Rea, who is the Deputy Assistant Director of the FBI's Counter and Terrorism Division. Chris?
Thank you, Governor Landry. Good morning. I am FBI Deputy Assistant Director Christopher Rea. I'm from our Counterterrorism Division at headquarters. I'm also joined by Assistant Special Agent in Charge Alethea Duncan from our New Orleans office, who you heard from yesterday. I'm here to discuss not only the latest investigative information we have here in New Orleans, but I'll also let you know about other investigative activities outside of the state. I first, and most importantly, want to send our deepest condolences to the victims of this horrific attack and their loved ones. 14 innocent victims were killed in this senseless attack, and at least 35 were injured. We cannot ease the grief people in this community and across the nation are feeling at this time. But rest assured, we stand with you and in support of you. All the resources, and I'm going to go into that a little bit later, all the resources of the FBI are being focused on tracking down every piece of evidence, every lead, every interview, every potential lead we've got. While I won't be able to answer all your questions today, my goal is to be as forthcoming as possible with you on what we've uncovered so far. First and foremost, let me be very clear about this point. This was an act of terrorism. It was premeditated and an evil act. This was obviously a critical incident, and with that, lots of information and tips come pouring in from law enforcement, first responders, and the public. We have been aggressively running down these tips and information. As you all know, that takes time, and we will continue to do so until every lead has been followed through on. This investigation is only a little more than 24 hours old. So I ask you to keep in mind that as I go through some of the specifics later. But at this point, currently, and this is another fact I want to be clear on, we do not assess at this point that anyone else involved in this attack except for Shamsa Din Jabbar, the subject you've already been briefed on. A little bit about what the FBI is doing. So we are surging people and assets to the area from across the region and across the nation. Special agents in multiple field offices across the country have been deployed and are assisting with potential aspects of this investigation and following up on every lead. Additional teams of special agents, professional staff, and victim specialists continue to arrive to provide more investigative power and assistance to the victims and their families. We've also forward deployed a number of our critical incident response group assets, including members of our hostage rescue team, special agent bomb technicians, and crisis management coordinators. In addition, we have deployed more evidence response technicians to continue to process the various scenes that we have. So far, we have received just over 400 tips from the public, and that information is being followed up on both here in New Orleans and across the country. Some of the tips are here in New Orleans, and there are other tips in other states across the country that we are following up on. The FBI team and our law enforcement partners here are also reviewing hundreds of hours of surveillance and other video from both the French Quarter and other locations. As for a timeline, at this point, investigators believe Jabbar picked up the rented F-150 in Houston, Texas on December 30th. He then drove from Houston to New Orleans on the evening of the 31st, and he posted several videos to an online platform proclaiming his support for ISIS. There were 5 videos posted on Jabbar's Facebook account, which are time-stamped beginning at 1:29 a.m. and the last at 3:02 a.m. In the first video, Jabbar explains he originally planned to harm his family and friends, but was concerned the news headlines would not focus on the, quote, war between the believers and the disbelievers, end quote. Additionally, he stated he had joined ISIS before this summer. He also provided a will and testament. FBI and ATF. FBI, we have a couple different scenes at the location. We have released the scene at Bourbon Street. That scene has been released. We also have a scene off of Mandeville Address, where we're currently searching that scene right now. FBI and ATF agents have secured that house, and that location is being searched for potential evidence. On New Year's morning, Jabbar opened fire after ramming through a blocked-off area of Bourbon Street, used his truck as a weapon to run over the victims. Teams of specially trained victim specialists again, as I said, are on the ground here in New Orleans, assisting survivors of the attack and loved ones of the deceased. We do not believe the public is in any danger around any of these locations. 3 phones linked to Jabbar have been recovered, and digital media exploitation is a priority to see what is on the devices and determine if there are any other potential leads. Additionally, we have recovered 2 laptops and are currently reviewing them for any potential leads. Those laptops were recovered at the Mandeville address. Evidence technicians will also be going over the F-150 truck Jabbar was driving. As you know, we recovered an ISIS flag from the back of the vehicle. Jabbar declared his support for the terrorist group on social media, as I stated before, as he made his way to New Orleans. FBI bomb technicians also recovered 2 IEDs in coolers, one from the cross-section of Bourbon and Orleans Street, and the second at an intersection approximately 2 blocks away. There were multiple reports of other devices. Those reports turned out to be misinformation or not actual functioning devices. Those are the only 2 devices that we've been able to recover that were functional. Both devices were rendered safe on scene. We did obtain surveillance footage showing Jabbar placing the devices where they were found. 2 other, as I said before, 2 other items of interest were determined not to be IEDs. A little bit about Jabbar. Jabbar himself was born in the United States and is a U.S. military veteran. We are looking in everything in his life. While we have interviewed many people who know Jabbar, we still need to talk to others. Whether you know Jabbar personally, worked with him, served in the military, or saw him in New Orleans or Texas, we need to talk to you. You may not think you have relevant information, but what you know could tie in to one of our investigative leads. Specifically, we want to talk to anyone who was in the French Quarter on New Year's Eve or early on New Year's Day. That includes people spotted near one of the 2 IEDs on Bourbon Street. The IED was inside a cooler, and many people stopped and looked at the cooler and then continued on their way. Let's be clear, again, we do not believe at this point these people are involved in this incident in any way. We want to speak to them as witnesses and want to know what they saw and when. I went down to the crime scene last night. It is very hard to put into words what it looked like and how difficult it was to see. Anyone with information can call us at 1-800-CALL-FBI or send digital tips to fbi.gov/Bourbon Street attack. Early this morning, evidence response teams finished their work at the crime scene. Bourbon Street has been turned over to the city of New Orleans. As you know, there's also an FBI investigation in Las Vegas. We are following up on all potential leads and not ruling everything out. However, at this point, there is no definitive link between the attack here in New Orleans and the one in Las Vegas. And again, I'll preface, as I close, I'll preface everything with what I started with in the beginning, which was this is very early in an investigation like this. Again, our thoughts and prayers are with the victims of this tragedy and everyone impacted across the country. They remain at the heart of our investigation. I also, although I've only been on the ground here a short time, I also want to express a sincere appreciation for our partners here, which include the U.S. Attorney's Office, HSI, ATF, the New Orleans PD, the Louisiana State Police, the Governor's Office, and countless others. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to the Special Agent in charge of ATF here, Josh Jackson.
Hey, good afternoon. As stated, my name is Joshua Jackson. I am the Special Agent in charge for the ATF New Orleans Field Division. And ATF's primary mission is preventing, reducing, and solving violent crime throughout the United States and abroad. solving part is the focus of this investigation. ATF resources that have been brought to bear to the city and to focus with our federal, state, and local partners have been our national response team. We spoke about the scene that's still being processed now. The national response team of ATF is a team of certified fire investigators, certified explosive specialists, fire engineers, electrical engineers. These folks will give us additional investigative leads to help the investigative team identify what happened at the location in Mandeville and identify how that fire started and move the investigation forward from there. Additional resources that ATF has brought to bear into the city. There's our ATF Special Response Team. This is a tactical team capable of handling any sort of enforcement operation. This team is deployed, on set, and ready for the Sugar Bowl today. This team is also made available to the Louisiana State Police and also New Orleans Police Department to assist with any efforts that they may have during this period. Additional resources, as the governor alluded to, he executed executive powers and had an emergency declared to where ATF was able to tap in to Emergency Support Function 13 resources. This allowed us to bring additional explosive detection canines so that we can safely sweep the city and safely sweep the Super Bowl in preparation for the game today. These resources will still be in the city as we lead up to the Super Bowl and through Mardi Gras. These type of ATF resources will be here. The last resources ATF has brought to bear, and probably the most important one, is our victim witness coordinators. These folks come in and they provide resources to the victims and the family members that have suffered greatly during this tragedy. The entire city hurts, but the victims and the family members are in need of resources and care long after this investigation wraps up. This time next year, to be hard for the families and friends who suffered during this event. So our victim witness coordinators are working with the FBI, the City of New Orleans coordinators to provide resources to these folks out here. And as we move forward, ATF will be committed. We will work with the investigative team moving this investigation forward, but also we'll be here to make sure the city is safe and prepared as we move into the Super Bowl. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our mayor of this great city, New Orleans. Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. Well, good morning once again. And I just want to just echo my thank yous to the unified command of our law enforcement partners and at every single level, federal, state, and governor. Governor, thank you for your partnership. Thank you. I also want to thank the residents and the visitors of the city of New Orleans for your patience, for your support, and most of all, your prayers. Our hearts and prayers continue to go out to the victims' families, and the city of New Orleans, we're resilient. And as I stated on yesterday, my focus in terms of a priority has been on our victims. As you heard, that yes, the FBI was able to clear Bourbon Street. And what that meant also for me in this city was that we were able to remove our victims, identify them, and notify their families. Real reverence. They mattered, the families matter, and matter to the city of New Orleans. In addition to that, I want to just thank again our federal partners in Washington, listening to my plea personally for the additional resources to allow for the scene to be cleared, and again, attending to our victims. I walked by each one, and I did the sign of cross in my own way, because reverence, again, is important. So while we have been able to have Bourbon Street returned back to the city of New Orleans, and the due diligence has been done, that then allowed me to give the go-ahead to begin the cleaning of Bourbon Street. That started happening in the morning about 2 a.m. It was completed before 8 a.m. this morning. But that has really set the tone, I would say, and with the confidence that I have in the law enforcement partners, all of the resources that have been activated, how we have made sure that safety continues to be our top priority, how our assets have been deployed strategically, again, for the safety and the protection of our visitors and our residents in the city. And because of that, the confidence is there to reopen Bourbon Street to the public prior to game time today. The first order will be to allow for vendors to come in and service the businesses. That's important in order for us to stand up activation, as you know, Governor. And so with that, I want to reassure the public that the City of New Orleans is not only ready for game day today, but we're ready to continue to host large-scale events in our city because we are built to host at every single turn. I want to, again, thank all of those who responded to the FBI's call for information and tips. As you heard, that has been useful. Continue to do that. The investigation is still active and absolutely under the FBI's leadership. We will continue to operate and cooperate as we always have. So I want to also thank all of our partners for the added resources for victim and crisis management. We know that that's, again, important. Working with our partner, the Greater New Orleans Foundation, we have set up a fund for our victims' families for not only today but into the future. As you heard, this is going to be a long process for our people. So with that, the City of New Orleans, and with all of my confidence, we are ready. And we could not get here, again, without the unified presence, support, and cooperation. We are stronger together. And I want to say, again, thank you so much. Thank you, Governor. So once again, the Governor would like me to reiterate that Bourbon Street will be prepared for full activation before game time today. We know 3 p.m., so we're working towards 2:30 p.m. But prior to game time, the kickoff, Bourbon Street will be restored. So we're hard at work now. Our teams are now, and of course, working with our business community to serve our public and serve our residents and our visitors alike.
In closing, I want to rest people assured. Right now in the city of New Orleans, there is an unprecedented amount of law enforcement resources that are being utilized to close out and to hunt down and to finalize this investigation. I want to thank the FBI and all of our federal partners for the amount of resources they have poured into the city. This type of event can happen in any city. And that's the tragedy of it. And I think it's important for people to understand that to protect our citizens in America from evil, you have to crush it. You can't go out there and placate it. You can't go out there and say, oh, I'm going to put this in place and that in place and hope that evil doesn't show up on your doorstep, because it will. You have to crush it. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to put it all behind us. We're going to continue to keep the victims, those that are in the hospital, either fighting for their lives or trying to recover, in our thoughts and in our prayers. But you know, this morning, and I don't want to single out just one news source, but I just happened to turn on Fox and Friends, and there was a young man who was interviewed who was actually on Bourbon Street during this horrific act of terrorism. And they closed out by asking him, what now? And I think he summed it up. He said, look, we can't live in fear, because fear will paralyze us. He said, we come down to the city to enjoy ourselves and to entertain ourselves and to be with our friends and with our families, because that's who we are. Louisiana invented hospitality. The people of this city care for each other. And believe you me, we care about each one of the lives that were lost in this city at night. We will never forget them. But it would be a tragedy if we let their losses. This city will be back. We'll be open to family and friends and loved ones who want some time to relax from the pressures of life. And so today, we're going to have us a sugar bowl. We're going to enjoy ourselves. We're going to keep those, again, who have lost loved ones in mind. And we're going to get on to the business of this city and this great country. With that, I'll take any questions.
Governor, this is for you and the Assistant Director. The message has really changed since yesterday. Yesterday, the FBI said that people should be vigilant, that he did not act alone, that he likely had help, and now you're coming out the very next day and saying he was a lone wolf, everything is safe, the game moves on, everybody have a good time. How can you be so sure just 12 hours later?
Well, we're going to bring him up. All right, but here's what I want to remind everyone. Like I was a deputy sheriff. All right, I worked in a jail. I worked on the street. I worked on the interstate. I served warrants. I can tell you. Look, in today's world, I get it. Information, we get information like that. Everybody lives in a 15-second TikTok video. We think that life operates like it does on our phones, and it just doesn't. Information changes. In fact, that's why we ask the media for patience. We get information, like I said, no one dumps a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle and puts it together in 5 seconds. Okay? And what I would tell you is that I appreciate the fact that what we did was we're under-promising and over-delivering today. And I think that's important. And I want to remind something. Look, because over the last decade, law enforcement has taken it on the chin, unfairly. And there are great men and women serving in the FBI, in ATF, in Louisiana State Police, in New Orleans PD. Our sheriffs have been unbelievable in this. And I tell you, they want to protect you all. And we have to trust them. And sometimes the information we put out, we end up finding out that it may be incorrect. But guess what? What we're doing here is something that I think is important. It's called transparency. And look, something may change again. Here's what I do know, though. Right now, this is one of the safest places on earth. That doesn't mean that nothing can't happen.
Thank you, Governor. And to echo exactly, I think the Governor put it eloquently, as could be said. In a lot of these instances, I also had the opportunity to deploy to Boss Bomb, and I will tell you this is almost carbon copy to Boss Bomb as far as the inaccurate reporting that comes up. And what the Governor said is we want to be transparent with the public. Years of the FBI not being transparent, we're being as transparent as we possibly can. And unfortunately, as we're being transparent, unfortunately for that, there is some information that we have to go back and recorrect. And in this particular incident, you heard the resources that we brought, that the other state and locals have brought. We've had 24 hours now to go through media, to go through phones, to interview people, to analyze those videos, analyze other databases. And after all of that, there's been hundreds and hundreds of leads done just in 24 hours. We're confident at this point that there's no accomplices. And I'll give you an idea of how that information sometimes, a lot of the early reports came out that there were extra people that were setting the coolers down, right? It turns out those were just patrons on the street that were looking inside the coolers, right? Well, we didn't know that at first, so we had to kind of track all that down and put that to rest. So that's just an example, one of the pieces of information, but there were other pieces of information that after we got our feet under us a little bit and on the ground here, we were able to put together a much more accurate picture of the subject and his attention.
Just one follow-up. What's the suspect?
The updated death toll, we just wanted to double check.
Yes.
14, not 15.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir.
14, and then the shooter himself would be 15 total. to include the shooter.
And to
Was
clarify,
the terrorist wearing
the
a suicide
IEDs,
vest?
the IEDs, were the IEDs pipe bombs, and have you discovered a remote detonator anywhere? And you said that you have surveillance footage of the suspect planting those IEDs. What time, roughly, were they planted?
Yeah, those roughly a couple hours. I don't have the exact times in front of me. A couple hours prior to the attack. Probably after midnight. After midnight. I want to say 1 or 2 in the morning,
So
but I
he
can't.
left the area and came back.
Correct. That's our assumption now. I mean, we still have a lot to work through. We're getting more surveillance video and everything else, but that's the assumption.
Was there sweeps being done on Bourbon Street? Would there have been canines out on New Year's Eve? Would there have been bomb sweeps done?
Look,
as
I
part of
think,
the regular precautions?
Let me just say this, and either Joe or Rob will correct me. Look, a bomb dog doesn't operate like a drug dog, right? On Bourbon Street, there's a lot of senses, right? A lot of smells. I don't think you can run a bomb dog down Bourbon Street with thousands of people there and be able to sniff out a bomb. What we've been doing, what they have been doing, is certainly a complete sweep of the quarter because of the limited amount of traffic that's been out there. Let me just say this. I think this may help. It would be my hope that as some additional time goes through, maybe closer to maybe the beginning of next week, we will, if we've got it to what extent buttoned up as we could, I would work with the FBI and the city, and maybe we can come up with a timeline to be able to get you those information, kind of walk everyone through from day one through. I think it's extremely premature, and you're really putting us on some speculative grounds to ask some of those questions, because again, it's only been 24 hours. I mean, can you imagine how far we've come in 24 hours?
Governor, temporary bollards being removed.
We'll go one at a time.
What is being done to make Bourbon Street safer tonight than it was New Year's Eve? Are temporary bollards being brought in to block off the street, and why weren't those used on New Year's Eve?
Well, look, here's what I'm going to say. Every time some bad guy does something like this, there's what we call an after-action review. Because again, nothing is 100%. We have reinforced the area. We have deployed some additional types of assets. I personally think it's up to the city or other. I don't like to give specifics because I don't like to tell the enemy what we got. But I can tell you we're in better shape than we were before.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Can you speak to the Mandeville scene? And some neighbors at that site told us they smelled smoke early in the morning. Was there a fire there? Any kind of burning happening?
Yeah,
Do you
great.
still believe that fire happened after the suspect was killed?
That's correct. Yeah, I'll move to 18. I do want to address the suicide vest question. I want to kill that one right away. There was no evidence that the subject was wearing a suicide vest at all. So I will turn the Mandeville stuff over to ATF.
Yeah, as to the fire at the Mandeville scene, so our working theory now is that the fire started after Jabbar was already deceased. There's a lot of different ways that can happen. You could have different time devices. You could have a long cord that extended that time. You could also have pressure cookers that were put on top of the stove filled with gasoline, and then it went off. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but that is why our ATF National Response Team is here to answer those questions and get that investigative lead back to our team. So more to come on that. We're still processing that scene. We're out there right now.
Are you how he became radicalized over all of this time? What brought him to Bourbon Street? Do we understand? Was there any international travel involved? What led him down this path to this sort of radicalization?
Sure, a lot of questions we're still asking ourselves. We know that he specifically picked out Bourbon Street. Not quite sure why. I mean, I think one can assume that it was lots of people New Year's Eve, with a target for an attack. That's the stuff in the coming days, as far as that path to radicalization, that we're really going to be digging into and making a priority of. So, what I can tell you right now is that he was 100% inspired by ISIS. And so we're digging through more of the social media, more interviews, working with some of our other partners to ascertain just how to ascertain a little bit more about that connection.
We're going to do one more. Kate?
Right there. You've had your hand up for a while. Start it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's actually for Special Agent Ryan. Sir,
I prefer those.
In order to reassure people, would you be able to explain the analysis and evidence that has led to this most recent understanding that he was a lone actor and that there is at this point, at least from your understanding, no further danger to the public?
Sure. I think a lot of that, multiple interviews, the hundreds of interviews that we've conducted so far, the social media review that we've done of his accounts, by my count now, the 5 devices we have, the 3 cell phones and the 2 laptops, been able to initially triage or go through that, and there is just nothing to indicate through call records, through anything on those devices, through interviews, through anything in our systems that he was aided in this attack by anybody. And again, I have to caveat, like the governor said, this is 24 hours into it, and that could change. But right now, we've got a much better picture and much more confidence on what we were dealing with than we were just 24 hours.
Thank you all so very much. Again, we are going to try to get y'all as much information as possible. So any additional information will be put out through press releases. Thank you so very much.
Moving forward, are we going to be making Bourbon Street a pedestrian only, or are we going to be allowing cars to drive through?
You're taking mine, Chris.
It's going to be pedestrian only?
All right, so that was the press conference from earlier today.
Oops, I'm sorry.
No, you good?
No, I'm good.
You heard in the press conference they said they don't believe he was acting with anybody else. And they talked about how they said that, it was interesting, they said that initially they thought they had video of other people placing IEDs. And he said, the FBI guy said that like it turned out that was people who just like found the coolers they were in, like pedestrians, and examining the coolers. So they say they have no evidence that that anybody else was involved, but they did say they have video of the driver placing the 2 IEDs in the French Quarter like roughly a couple hours before the attack. By the way, I have something I wanted to show you real quick. There's a little video from South Korea I want to show you. It's not really on topic, but I guess in South Korea there's been an arrest warrant issued for the former president who has been impeached, and he's supposed to be arrested, I think, tonight, and Reuters has some footage of his residence. Look at this. Hold on. That is in South Korea. This is near the South Korean presidential residence, as the impeached president faces an attempt by authorities to arrest him. So again, the impeached president is not president anymore, but the authorities tonight have gone to his residence to arrest him. Now, maybe they've already arrested him. I don't know. I don't. You can see there's a police bus. There's lots of police, but I don't know. This has been on for a little while. So no, I'm not doing a whole stream for this. I just figured I'd show you guys because it's interesting video. Now it looks like another bus is leaving, so maybe they're all leaving now. Maybe they just arrested him. I don't know. But I thought this was interesting video. This is again live, and there's the other bus. I think maybe they've already arrested him. Maybe it just happened. That's a live video. No, we're not doing coverage. We're not doing a whole stream on it. But it looks like they're leaving now. Oh, no, now somebody's backing up. Maybe they're not leaving. I'll check Yonhap and see what they're reporting about this. But I thought it was interesting to see, so I wanted to show you guys. This was the... Yonhap says that the impeached president has not been detained. Oh, he's not detained. Yonhap says that the impeached South Korea, they did not detain the impeached president today. But it's likely as soon as the 3rd. Well, what's the time in South Korea right now? Is it already the 3rd? No, it is the 3rd. So that was about yesterday. So it is the 3rd. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's in custody yet. But this is near the South Korean impeached president's residence, and police have apparently gone there to arrest him. And it is the 3rd there today. So I don't have any updates for you, but I just wanted to let you see this. So I know it's off topic, but just taking a minute to show you this video. I think somebody just said something like in 5 minutes. This is in Seoul, South Korea. Meanwhile, I'll take some comments on what we just saw as we keep an eye on this live video here. I don't know if we'll see anything. But I'll take some comments about the press conference we just saw about the New Orleans attack. By the way, thanks so much for your support, Vicky Healy. I really appreciate that, Vicky. Thank you, Vicky Healy. Also, a big thank you to Mel for your support, for being a member. Thank you to Martin Gingrich. Martin Gingrich says we need more questions about the Airbnb fire. There were some at the end, but they're still trying to figure out what caused the fire at the Airbnb where the attacker was staying. And they say they believe the fire started after the attack, when he wasn't there. Thank you, MAGA since 1492 for your support. Thank you, Allie B. from Tennessee. And Miranda Stevens. Thank you, Miranda Stevens. Miranda thought that maybe Biden doesn't have all the updates. Also, Ken Lance and Alan Shorer are a member. Oh, I wanted to give you an update about the smoke in the French Quarter. Yeah, so a bunch of you had mentioned smoke in the French Quarter. So it turned out that was a fire at a vacant property. Andres Fuentes from Fox 8 New Orleans reported that there was a fire in a vacant property. And as of 40 minutes ago, the smoke was dying down. Firefighters were putting it out. And Andres Fuentes said, neighbors tell me they believe homeless people might have started that fire. So that was the smoke in the French Quarter. Okay. All right, so I wanted to mention that. And then Devil in Disguise mentioned to me that Intel Point Alert said that there was a portion of a freeway closed in South Carolina due to a reported bomb threat involving an 18-wheeler. Get you an update on that. So Cody Alcorn reports from, I might be able to get you the, I might be able to get you this too. On I-85 in Greenville County, South Carolina, the highway has been closed because the freeway has been closed because a driver was pulled over and then said he had a bomb. According to Cody Alcorn of 11 Alive News, State Transport Police pulled over the 18-wheeler, and that's when he said he had a bomb. That's I-85. And I'll try to get you an update on that. I was actually trying to get you a shot of the maybe a live of online I was trying to get you a shot of maybe like an online traffic cam. I-85 in Greenville County. Where is Greenville County? Let's see. I might be able to get you a live shot of the freeway. All right, so that's going to be over in the top northwest of the state. Hang on a moment here. Northwest. Okay. So I go to the map. I found it. Here. So if we go here, Greenville County, hold on. This is that's obviously not South Korea, SC Department of Transportation. This is the I-85. It's like closed, you can see I-85. Well, where is it here? Whitehorse, is that it? All lanes blocked, is that what it is right there? Am I right? Let me just make sure. Supposedly this is near Whitehorse Road. I found it. I found it on the map. Look. Where'd it go? There. That's the freeway. See, the freeway's closed. The I-85 is closed. Is that the only camera they have there? Is there another one I can get you? That's one. How about like these? Well, there's traffic there. That lane is closed. Yeah, you can see there it's just closed. There's nobody on the freeway there. Is there one with the truck? Anyways, that is a live shot right there with nobody on the freeway. Again, the report I saw said that the truck was pulled over and then the guy said he had a bomb. I don't know that he really has a bomb on board. Ronan thinks the dude is just being selfish. It's just a speeding ticket. I don't know, but again, the report I saw was that the person said it after they got pulled over. the truck driver who made the bomb threat on I-85 in South Carolina. Cody Alcorn says, sources are telling me State Transport Police pulled over the 18-wheeler. That's when he stated he had the bomb. Okay, so I'll keep an eye out for this. I'm thinking maybe given if it is true, what Cody Alcorn is reporting, that he said he had a bomb after he got pulled over by police, maybe that's not true. So I'm not going to worry about it right at the moment. I mean, they have the freeway closed. I don't know if it's true, but that's what the report I saw. Okay. Let's take a few more comments on the New Orleans and so if you missed it, we covered the whole press briefing for the Cybertruck explosion. I'm not going to go over that again, but the authorities identified the man that they say they believe was driving the Cybertruck in Las Vegas, and they say that he shot himself in the head just before the Cybertruck exploded. Evelyn in Maine says, what a crazy year already. Patrick Russell thinks that in New Orleans, the truck attack only happened because the IEDs failed to explode. Yeah, I mean, I don't, it's an interesting question what the plan was. Again, authorities said, you saw in the press conference, they said that the guy placed 2 IEDs in the French Quarter. But they didn't go off, from what we know. Was the plan to set them off before the attack? Or, how did that fit into the planned attack? I don't know. And why didn't they go off? It's a good question. I was going to actually show you guys on a map where those IEDs were placed. So it was, one of them was at Bourbon in Orleans. Bourbon Street and Orleans Street. So it's interesting. This is the map here. The actual attack happened in here. It was like these 3 blocks right here from 1, 2, 3, because Prohibition is where basically the truck ended up. So one of the explosives was left up here, which is about 4 blocks further in than the truck got. And then the other one, he said, was 2 blocks away from this. I don't know in which direction. But that is where one of them was placed, Bourbon and Orleans. He never actually got there. That's a good 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks from where the truck ended up. Stickler for Change says he wasn't a bomb maker, so maybe the bombs did not function. Oh, it was which South Korean president are we talking about? Sorry, because the second was impeached. It was the first of the 2, I believe. Yeah, President Yoon is the one. Well, I did say the person who declared martial law, didn't I? Yeah, South Korea has issued a South Korean court has issued a warrant to detain the president who declared martial law. Oh, CNN reports. CNN just had a report that said, I don't know if this was based on what. CNN says DHS and FBI warned law enforcement last month about potential vehicle ramming by lone attackers over holidays. I don't know if that was based on any specific evidence or if they were just like, well, this is something that happens in other countries, so maybe it could happen here. I don't know. That's interesting. Also, by the way, the police said they had 3 phones. I think they said 3 cell phones and 2 laptops that belonged to the New Orleans attacker that they're going through. Ice Holdell thinks his wife knows more. Oh, hold on a second here. All right, we'll take a few more comments. I want to get to a few more of your comments. There were a bunch today. Oh, not Tom Larson said there might be a foot pursuit with the I-85 suspect on the scanner. I wasn't listening to it. See if I can maybe quickly check on that. Well, maybe that. What was? Is that Greenville Public Safety? Is that what it would be? This is the Broadcastify. I'm not going to spend 4 hours on a different stream covering a foot pursuit of somebody who claimed he had a bomb in his truck. So I will quickly check on the scanner.
We're standing on getting this thing set up.
To see what they're talking about. Again, this is Broadcastify.com.
They're running the route with traffic.
And you know, if it's a big enough story, we could do its own stream on it. But I figured I'd do a quick check to see. And again, Cody Alcorn with 11 Alive says that on I-85 in South Carolina, there was a traffic stop where a truck got pulled over, and then the driver of the truck told the police that he had a bomb after he got pulled over. Not before. Right, well, I'm not hearing much on the scanner. Okay.
162.
Oh.
44 Alpha, 315 Augusta Street, 315 Augusta Street, Brick Street Cafe.
All right, I'm turning off the scanner. Broadcastify.com is where the scanner was. Joe Soul mentioned to me that B&O News says, and I don't know where they're getting this information, B&O News says 16 victims of the New Orleans attack are still in the hospital, including 8 people in the ICU. I'm guessing they're getting that from a reliable source. I don't have the source. But I mean, it's terrible that there's 16 people still in the hospital and 8 in the ICU. It is good that there's some people who are not in the hospital anymore. Thank you, Joe. All right. Well, so I just want to take a couple more comments from you guys. People had sent in a lot of things, so I was trying to read a few more comments from people. What is this thing? Yeah, a bunch of people had sent me messages about the fire in the French Quarter, which turned out to be at a vacant property. All right, well, here's what we're going to do. We covered, oops, hold on a second here. So we have updated you on both the situation with New Orleans attack and the Cybertruck explosion, and I will certainly be keeping an eye out for updates on those stories. But I think right now. And maybe there'll be other big stories I want to jump on and cover, but I think right now it might be time to wrap up this stream. I'll keep an eye on the South Korea thing, but I don't really have, if I decide to cover it, it might be its own story. Oh, before I do that though, here's let me just give you one more shot of the South Korea video. It's kind of, again, this is video in South Korea where police have gone to the residence of the impeached president who declared martial law, it's like a couple weeks ago, I think, and then was impeached, to take him into custody. There's a whole operation going on there that you can see. And I don't really know the details of what's going on. Yeah, flags up. This is a Reuters video. Yeah, so Yonhap South Korea News says that, again, they are there to the police are there to carry out this arrest warrant on the impeached president. And Yonhap says that on the president's side says the arrest and search warrant is illegal and invalid. And there's a concern that either the presidential security or supporters of the impeached president could block the execution of the warrant. So you see they have this big police presence there. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this stream. If there's some kind of event that I want to do a stream on, we'll do a separate stream on it. But we're going to wrap up this stream because we've gone far afield from the topic. So I really appreciate you guys joining our stream, our update on the New Orleans attack and the Cybertruck explosion. If you missed it, you can rewind and get all the updates we went through. Again, if there's big news tonight, then or later after I get off the air, I'll just come on the air and do a different stream on it. How's that sound? Okay. Again, I really appreciate you being here. Hey, subscribe and follow the channel if you want to catch our live streams. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. Agenda Free TV. Subscribe, follow, turn on the notifications. We have a notification system. It works awesome. We set it up on Discord. It's free. You sign up once, you get sent a notification whenever we go live. It's really reliable. Make sure you don't miss a stream. Sign up for the free notifications. The mods will post the link to the notifications in the chat. And you can find it in the description of this video as well on Facebook and YouTube, the notifications description. Let's see here. Hold on a second. Notifications, the video description, the notifications link. Also, what was I going to say? I will post updates on my X account about news when we're not on the air, about the stories we talked about today and other stories. So you can follow me on X if you want. It is @Lookner. Oops, I want to turn the audio from that off. It's @Lookner on X. Follow me there for breaking news updates. I'll post the link in the chat. And thanks to Kerry Poteet for your support. I missed that, Kerry. Thank you. Kerry says White Horse in sections can be a bit sketchy. You mean in South Carolina? Could be legit or could be the driver panicked due to other illegal activity. Thank you, Kerry Poteet, for your perspective on South Carolina, on that stretch of highway. And thanks to Weasel and your support. Thanks to Weasel Man as well. Thanks, Weasel Man. I appreciate that. Thanks to our moderators. Really appreciate our moderators. You guys are awesome. That is why we can have chats, is our moderators are there, keeping it under control there, keeping people respectful. So they're the ones who allow us to have chat rooms. Beth Mythical, Roberts May Queen on YouTube, Sabrina, thank you. All of our other YouTube mods have been there. Sarah55. And over on Facebook, Christina Neal, Kay Laribati, Margaret Riley, hang on a second here. Paul Anderson, Bud Green, thanks for being there on Facebook and modding. And our Twitch moderators, LB Prairie Dawn, Sarah, Surly Dev, all of our other Twitch moderators, Linda Belk and Larry on X. Big thanks to our moderators. Thank you. Thank you everybody who donated to the channel. That is really nice of you. I think I missed a couple people on Twitch. Oh no, The Legend of Hamtaro subscribed on Twitch. Thanks for subscribing over there. Hold on a second here. But I really appreciate your support for the channel. That is what this channel lets this channel stay on the air. So thanks so much for supporting the channel. And let's see. I also wanted to mention, we have a chat. You can chat with other viewers when we're not live. A lot of our viewers like doing that chat. It's on Discord, the Discord chat. Check it out. It's the same link as the notifications link. And it's free and it's on Discord. So check out the Discord chat. Also, if you watch on YouTube, I would recommend that you turn on the YouTube notifications, because that's a good way to find out when we're live over there. But if you're going to turn on the YouTube notifications, this is what you need to do. When you subscribe on YouTube, make sure after you subscribe that you have the notifications bell checked and you have checked all notifications. Again, if you subscribe on YouTube, click the bell, choose all, so you get the YouTube notifications. Okay, thanks also to our subscribers over there on Twitch, people like Massachusetts Guy, Annie Cush, Wall Street, Jazzy Renee, Aaron Weirdo, Chi-Town Bear, Army Vet 007, thank you, Wall Street and Shaggy, Bogan 04, Integrity Farmer Bob. Thanks for being subscribers, Jazzy Renee. And all of our other Twitch subscribers, thanks for subscribing over there. Facebook subscribers like Eve Richards, Lou Green, Diane Allworth, Margaret Riley, Kay Lowry Body. One of our viewers was watching from Hawaii over there on Facebook, I think they said. Can't find the comment now, but thanks for watching over there. Craig Carvalho, I think it was. All of our Facebook subscribers, thank you. And our YouTube members, J.K. Senar, Rain Tarrant, thanks for supporting the channel by being a member. Crypto King, Eric Johnson, Fagan411, Evelyn in Maine. Thank you again, Crypto King, for the memberships. That was super nice of you. And also, I wanted to shout out, again, Janet Burnett and... where is it here? I can't find it right now. The person I thanked before that gave 50 of you memberships. And all of everybody else for your support, thank you. Very much appreciated. Who was that person? Why is it not showing up? Why can't I find it here? Maybe I can find it over here. Oh, Faux ARC. That's who it was. Faux ARC. Right? Am I right about that? No, Faux ARC was different. But thank you, Faux ARC, for being a member. I can't find it here. Oh, Tin God GFY. Tin God GFY. That's who it was. Thank you. Our other members like Cherry Cola, Jay Marie, Anita Modolewski, Evelyn Maine, everybody else who supported the channel, that's really kind of you. J.K. Senar, Crypto King, thanks for being members. The Lucky Minute, Jean Romaine, Red Squirrel, Virgo Cat Lacey, Miss Construe, MAGA since 1492, Hot Pink 90 Sun, Jane Jones, C6, Mystical Wolf, Molly O, Firejack, Fagan, all of our other members as well. I'll be keeping an eye on the other news. If there's big news, we'll do another stream and cover it. Oh, and then, hold on a second here. Yeah, some of our viewers asked about Ruth, who was in the, I guess in the New Orleans area, from what the viewers were saying. I don't remember. Sorry, I should remember, but I don't remember. But Sarah55 said Ruth had some storm troubles, I think, but she is okay now. Thanks, Sarah. Okay. All right. Again, I'm going to wrap up this stream. If there's other big news, I will do a different stream and cover it. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, thanks Robin for watching. Fred Flintstone, Wickedest Witch for being members. Not Banksy. MW Pitt. UV Lightning, thanks for being a member. CAC 813. Patricia Grace, thanks for being members. Truth Bombs, thanks for watching. Weezer Chick, thanks for being a member. The Wager is Seth. Thanks for watching. Kim Feely. Thanks for being there and watching. Carol Thorpe Stankard. Thank you for watching. Mary Ann Sell. All right, it's time. It is time. All right, guys. So wrapping up the stream. Again, if there's big news, I'll come on and I'll do another stream. Thanks very much for watching, and we will see you soon. Oh, and I do want to say, the last thing I should mention. Did they talk about this? You know, the mayor said that there was some victims fund that they were opening up for the victims. I was just going to see if I could pass that along. Okay. If you're interested, I just want to tell you where you can look for this. She didn't post about it, but I just read that in NOLA.com, which is a news outlet, the Times-Picayune, it's a newspaper in New Orleans, said city leaders have launched the New Orleans New Year's Day Tragedy Fund today. So it's a fund to help the victims, I believe. Yes, the New Orleans New Year's Day Tragedy Fund. You can look that up. Greater New Orleans Foundation, New Orleans New Year's Tragedy Fund. If you're looking to donate, that's one place you could go. Again, according to NOLA.com, that is the fund the city set up. But I got to do more research into it because I just saw this right now. But I got this from NOLA.com. If we cover it again, I'll give you another update on this. But anyways, I'll have to look into that. But that's from that's according to NOLA.com. That is the, and also according to Fox 59. Fox 59 said the Greater New Orleans Foundation has opened the fund. And then, maybe the mayor will post about it and I can pass that along. Oh, and then GoFundMe has a page where they have how to help attack in New Orleans. And they have verified fundraisers for the people and families affected. So I just wanted to throw that out there if people were looking for stuff like that. All right. And again, condolences to the families of those who were killed, and thoughts with all those who were injured, especially the 8 reportedly who are still in the ICU, according to B&O News. Okay. All right, I'm wrapping this up. And again, if there's other big news, we'll come on the air and do another stream. That is it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon with more live coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.